Jaguars and 49ers both come in on 3-game win streaks. And today's game is being broadcast in Spanish, where available using the SAP button on your television. Feliz Navidad. Jaguars can clinch the AFC South with a win or a Tennessee loss. And the 49ers now a 4-10 record under Kyle Shanahan. Jacksonville won the toss. They have elected to defer. So Josh Lambo will kick it away to Matt Breida, back deep for San Francisco. Underway week 16 of the NFL on CBS. Breida from his own 3-yard line to the 20. And he's tackled at the 21. So Jimmy Garoppolo will come out making his 6th career start. 5-0 as a starter, including 3 straight with the 49ers. It's the best start to a career by a quarterback since Ben Roethlisberger, 2004-2005 seasons. Now look at the starting offensive line, a familiar face for Jaguars fans. Zane Beadles, normally a guard, getting the start at right tackle, and Kyle Juszczyk, the only 49er elected to the Pro Bowl earlier this week. On 1st and 10, Carlos Hyde trips in the backfield. And a loss of 2 on the play against this intense Jaguars D, led by Calais Campbell, 2nd in the NFL, 14.5 sacks on the season. Paul Posluszny in his 7th season with Jacksonville, first time in his career he will go to the playoffs. And Barry Church, what a pickup he's been, James.
He certainly has. This is the down that Kyle Shanahan talked to us about yesterday. They want to avoid those 3rd and 7+ downs, so they need to pick up a chunk here.
Here comes the pressure. Garoppolo hit as he throws, and Goodwin juggled it on the sideline, and they're saying it's a catch. So Marquise Goodwin brings it in. Credit to Garoppolo for hanging tough in the pocket.
There are different elements that wide receivers have. Some have great strength, some have good size, some run great routes. But when you have great speed, you make guys back off of you. Jimmy G moving just a little bit away from that pass rush to bide some time and get that ball off.
It was Calais Campbell that hit Garoppolo. It brings up 3rd down and 2. 49ers 24th in the NFL on 3rd downs this year, but in the last 3 games they're 6th. Garoppolo to Kittle for the first down. George Kittle now has a catch in every game this season. He picks up 13.
Well, great job by the offensive line. You have 3rd and 2. You decide you're going to pass the ball. You line your quarterback up in the gun. And that window of the ability for him to look straight down the field and see the field so clearly. Hats off to the offensive line.
First down and 10 for San Francisco from the 42. It's Hyde again. This time is able to spin across the 45. Carlos Hyde, 7th in the NFC in yards from scrimmage, but coming off a disappointing game last week against Tennessee when he was held to just 1.6 yards per carry.
Great job by Kyle Shanahan early on, going with 11 personnel. And by that I mean 1 tight end, 1 wide receiver, and 3 wide receivers rather, which forces Jacksonville to go to their nickel defense. So you have a corner who's trying to stop the run up near the line of scrimmage.
Play fake. Garoppolo looking deep. Throws for a wide open Bourne, but it's incomplete. Garoppolo and Bourne could not connect there, and it's 3rd down.
Once again, that run fake, just that subtle little run fake. You see the huge area there to throw the ball in, and Jimmy Garoppolo uncharacteristically just fires that ball high and wide.
Kyle Shanahan told us that Garoppolo does not have a fear for throwing the ball downfield. When he sees it, he will let it rip. But he also said that sometimes that'll lead to a bad day here or there. Of course, Garoppolo hasn't lost yet as a starter. We've yet to see a bad day for Jimmy G. 3rd and 7. Over the middle, Goodwin has another catch. And Goodwin with that great speed to the 31-yard line. A.J. Boye brings him down, but a gain of 24 for Marquise Goodwin.
You know, I don't want to sell Marquise Goodwin short and just continue to talk about his great speed. We know he has that, but this is a nice route. Very patient, sticks his foot in the ground, and the catch, the extending of the hands, and then smart run after the catch also.
2 catches for Goodwin, already 33 yards. Matt Breida at running back, and he takes the handoff, and Avery Jones the first to hit him. And Jacksonville limits Breida to a gain of 1. Well, it's been 11 straight games that the 49ers have failed to score a touchdown in the first quarter, tied for the longest in franchise history. They have not scored a touchdown in the opening quarter since week 3 against the Rams. Garoppolo completes it again inside the 20 to Aldrick Robinson. A.J. Boye on the coverage, but another first down for Garoppolo and the Niners.
I know one of my things for Christmas, I'd like one of those new computers, and that's what Jimmy Garoppolo has as a fast processor. He looked right, he looked at 2 receivers and came back to that slant on the left very quickly, because you don't have a lot of time in the pocket when you're throwing that 3-step drop.
And you saw the Jaguars have not allowed an opening drive touchdown in 21 straight games. Will that change here? Juszczyk inside the 5 and out of bounds at the 1. Telvin Smith made the hit, but it's first and goal for San Francisco.
A lot of teams don't have fullbacks, but Juszczyk is that pocket knife with the spoon on it, the fork, the screwdriver, the flashlight. He can do so many things other than just be a lead blocker. He is an elite pass receiver out the backfield.
Garoppolo's 5 out of 6 for 75 yards.
It brought some big beef in the lineup. Bringing Earl Mitchell in as the lead back, 310 pounds.
Garoppolo himself up the middle and in. Touchdown, San Francisco. The first career rushing touchdown for Jimmy G. And what a start here in Santa Clara.
Nice payoff for Jimmy G. So many critical passes that he was able to complete. He missed one big one. And sometimes guys will get down on themselves and that'll be the end of the drive. But to be able to rebound from that and to continue to march down the field and surgically take apart this Jacksonville Jaguars defense.
So a couple of long streaks end. It's the first time since week 10 of last year that the Jaguars allow a touchdown on an opponent's opening drive. And it's the first time since week 3 of this season the Niners score a first quarter touchdown. Jimmy Garoppolo 5 out of 6 for 75 yards on that opening drive, capped off by his first career rushing touchdown, and the first time San Francisco has scored a touchdown in the first quarter since week 3. Ends the longest active streak in the NFL. What a start for the red-hot Jimmy Garoppolo. How many of those number 10 jerseys are going to be under Christmas trees in this area tomorrow morning?
They may have to back order some of them. Yeah, I tried to get it, Jimmy. This is coming.
Corey Grant back deep to receive the kickoff, and it's a touchback for Bradley Pinion. So let's see if Blake Bortles can answer. He has been on a tear last 3 games, 71% completion percentage, 7 touchdowns and no interceptions. On the offensive line, Cam Robinson continues to impress in his first year out of Alabama. And D.D. Westbrook starts today. Allen Hurns was questionable. He is inactive with that ankle injury. So it's Westbrook and Cole as the starters. Fournette, the running back, on 1st and 10 from the 25. And Fournette hit in the backfield and chopped down for a loss. Let's take a look at that San Francisco defense led by DeForest Buckner, second-year man out of Oregon. Had a team-high 9 tackles last week against Tennessee. Reuben Foster leads all rookies in tackles per game. And in the secondary, Adrian Colbert, the 7th-round pick out of Miami, continues to do big things for Robert Saleh, the defensive coordinator's defense. Bortles to the air, broken up. It was K'Wan Williams who got a hand on that one, and it's 3rd down.
When you are a quick little wide receiver like Jadon Mickens is, you almost dread seeing a quick little defensive back covering you. 5'9", K'Wan Williams. He can move and redirect just like Jadon Mickens can. And that time, the Jaguars just sent him straight up the field and he hooked. You've got to get some movement with somebody that small where he's changing direction.
There is Robert Saleh, who spent the last 3 years as the Jaguars linebackers coach. Brought the same exact defense that Jacksonville plays here to San Francisco. 3rd down and 11. Bortles taking a deep shot and incomplete. Westbrook had a step on Witherspoon, but it's a 3 and out for Bortles and the Jaguars.
And quick pressure is what disrupts the route, because you can have everything go well, and you see Westbrook breaking open. But look at the pressure in the pocket. Quarterback doesn't have the time to be accurate with the ball. The receiver went inside. He's trying to work back outside. So a misfire on 3rd down.
Brad Nortman punting away to Trent Taylor. Taylor from his own 30. And Taylor hit at the 37-yard line. That's where the 49ers will go back to work. A 7-0 lead.
The NFL on CBS is sponsored by Southwest Airlines. Low fares, no hidden fees. That's transparency. New York Life. With the right guidance, everyone can be good at life. And by the 2018 Ford F-150, it doesn't just raise the bar, it is the bar.
Drive number 2 coming up for Jimmy Garoppolo, starting his career 5-0. The last 5 quarterbacks to go 5-0 or better to start their career. Kurt Warner, 1999. Dante Culpepper the following season. Mark Bulger in 2002. We already mentioned Big Ben, a 15-0 start.
That's a lot better.
And now Jimmy Garoppolo trying to go to 6-0 with a win over the Jaguars today.
A little change up for the Jaguars on defense. Paul Posesny, who did not start the game, got him in at middle linebacker here to kind of stop the run a little bit better.
With Garoppolo's parents, Denise and Tony, watching once again from the stands this week. On 1st and 10, he hands it to Carlos Hyde. Keeps the legs moving across the 40-yard line. Well, James, I thought it was interesting what Kyle Shanahan told us this week when we met with him. He said that it's very tough to throw crossing routes against this Jaguars defense because their linebackers drop so deep. So in the first half, we really need to make them pay in the run game so that in the second half, maybe those linebackers will creep closer to the line of scrimmage and we can throw a few more crossing routes.
He always gives us a little counter message because they threw a deep crossing route in the very first series. So you throw that, maybe you loosen up the run game a little bit.
2nd and 6, Hyde again, and there's Puzzluzny with the first contact, but Hyde refusing to go down. He's a half-yard shy of a first.
I think people forget about Carlos Hyde with all the losing that had gone on here the last couple of years. Well, we're talking about an excellent running back, a guy who can run out of the backfield, can also catch passes, and we saw the power there. 6 feet, 235 pounds, so he's not a small back by any measure.
4 carries, 11 yards for Hyde here in the first quarter. Let's see what they do here on 3rd down and 1 with Garoppolo in the shotgun. Right back to Hyde. And this is going to be very close. Our referee today is Jeff Triplett, and he has just indicated 1st down. Meanwhile, congratulations to the Jacksonville Jaguars. They just clinched their first division title since 1999. It's a final in Nashville. The Rams defeat the Titans 27-23. So by virtue of that Titans loss, Jacksonville just clinched the division, their first AFC South title in franchise history. Garoppolo, though, doesn't care about any of that. To Lewis Murphy for another 1st down. Telvin Smith on the tackle.
With all the playmakers that the Jacksonville Jaguars have on defense, Calais Campbell, 14.5 sacks, linebackers with touchdowns, somebody needs to step up and slow this 49er offense down.
They go no huddle here. Play fake. Garoppolo checks it down to a wide open Kittle. Room to run. Kittle inside the 20. Another 1st down to Sean Gibson on the tackle, but not before Kittle picks up 21.
When we were here last week and the 49ers were playing against the Tennessee Titans, they kept running the ball out of the eye. And I said at some point they're going to start to bootleg out of that same look. 2 bootlegs so far already this game, both successful, both wide open. So Kyle Shanahan was starting to set Jacksonville up last week.
First and 10 from the 15. This is Breida. Breida to the 10. And Breida tripped up inside the 10-yard line. Well, this Jaguars red zone defense comes in number 1 in the NFL. They had not allowed a red zone touchdown since week 10 against the Chargers under defensive coordinator Todd Wash. But here in the first quarter, the 49ers already have a red zone touchdown, and they're knocking on the door once again.
As a team, as a unit, you have to validate your ticket every week. You just can't say, oh, hey guys, we're number 1. Slow down. Don't go in the end zone on us. You've got to step it up and play.
Second down and 4. Garoppolo rolling right. Good coverage downfield, and he has to throw it away. There was some contact in the back of the end zone, but Kendrick Bourne went out of bounds, and it's 3rd and 4.
No need to force the ball. Jimmy Garoppolo outside the pocket. Miles Jack about 10 yards down the field started to close in on him because he had no coverage responsibility. Bourne, he's going to come inside, then he's going to try and go outside. And this is the fact that Jalen Ramsey's looking backwards and the receiver slips down. That's a good non-call by the officiating crew.
Keep an eye on Trent Taylor here, number 81, 8th in the NFL in 3rd down receptions. Garoppolo pass is batted down. Calais Campbell, all 6'8" of them, appeared to get a hand on that one, and Kyle Shanahan will send out his kicker.
You know, we sell football players short when we say he's 6'8". Remember, he's got a helmet on the top of that head, so that's about 7 feet high. And it's just hard to throw the ball over that man because he gets such great penetration. Kyle Shanahan knew that they had what they wanted, but you couldn't throw it around or over Calais Campbell.
So here's the hottest kicker in the NFL. Robbie Gould has made 20 in a row and 15 in his last 3 games. That's an NFL record. Low snap, kick on the way, and make it 21 in a row. From 27 yards out, San Francisco increases its lead. Kyle Shanahan, Jimmy Garoppolo, and the 49ers have a 10-0 lead. This is the first time the Jaguars have trailed since week 12 against Arizona. They fall behind by 10 points with Corey Grant set to receive the kickoff from Bradley Pinion. Total yards right now, 133 for San Francisco, -1 for Jacksonville. And take a look at what happened during that last timeout on the Jaguars sideline. A 10-4 team that just clinched the division, but Malik Jackson, number 97, and Aaron Colvin, number 22, having some heated words on the Jacksonville sideline. Had to be separated by their teammates.
When you are not used to getting pushed around, you don't want to be the guy who somebody's walking by your unit and has something chippy to say about your performance on the defensive line.
Let's see how the Jaguars respond on offense with a swing pass to Fournette. He gets away from Brock Coyle and runs out of bounds. You know, we met with Doug Marrone last night, and he said this is a different group. He said last week when they were up huge on Houston in the second half, he wanted to take some of his starters out, and he said they didn't want to come out. He had to threaten to fine them if they wouldn't come off the field. This is a very different dynamic, as Doug Marrone explained.
Well, each week there's some growth going on, and sometimes when you're down early in a ball game like this, that growth is painful.
2nd and 3, a handoff to Fournette. He's got the first down up the middle, but a late flag comes in. Our first penalty marker of the day with Jeff Triplett, the referee.
They're going to get backed up with a holding call.
Holding. Defense, number 90. That 5-yard penalty will be added into the play. Automatic first down.
So we told you that Jacksonville clinched the AFC South. Right now they're the number 3 seed, but they can still get up to the number 1 seed because they have a better conference record than New England, so they win that tiebreaker if the Patriots lose next week and Jacksonville wins its final 2. And they have the head-to-head tiebreaker against Pittsburgh by virtue of their big win against the Steelers. Pittsburgh would need to lose as well. They play the Texans tomorrow and then the Browns in week 17. Inside 5 minutes to go in the opening quarter as Fournette the workhorse early on for Jacksonville with Tom Coughlin.
He's charting the plays, he's charting offense, he's charting defense. And as you watch Jacksonville on offense, they don't do a lot of different things. They do it simply, they execute, they run a lot of the same runs over and over during the course of a ball game in the play-action passing game.
Last time they won the division title, Coughlin was the head coach back in 1999 when the AFC Central became the Jaguars. Bortles on the run, completes it to Keelan Cole, and he's got a Jaguars first down at the 41, a gain of 11.
You've got a good route, you've got a 3-by-1 situation, he's just going to drive up, that speed again, and you saw him kind of peek around because once he broke inside, he said the ball should be here, but Blake Bortles was having to move and realign himself in the pocket, so the throw was a little off schedule, and they got the minimum gain out of what could have been an even bigger pass play.
186 yards receiving last week for Keelan Cole as TJ Yeldon takes the handoff. That's the same amount of yards that the Jaguars defense allowed to Houston for the entire game. But here in the first quarter, the 49ers already with 133 yards of offense.
You know, we can rattle off a lot of stats about the 49ers and what they've done this season. But it's interesting. Normally, you have a change during the offseason and things are going to be brand new. The 49ers had a change when Garoppolo came in and things are brand new from that moment on. So judging just the last 3 weeks, if I'm judging the 49ers.
On 2nd and 8, Fournette is hit by his former teammate, Sheldon Day. Day was cut by the Jaguars last month. This is his 5th game with the Niners. Solomon Thomas also went on the tackle.
You got Tommy Bohanna as the lead blocker, and he can't knock the 49er out of the hole, so Leonard Fournette has to shuffle his feet, and when you start to shuffle your feet behind the line of scrimmage, the play is essentially over.
This Christmas Eve crowd in Santa Clara making some noise. 3rd down and 9. Three on the play clock. Here comes the pressure. Bortles throws. Intercepted. Picked off by Adrian Cole. Oh, now they're saying incomplete pass. Looked like Colbert had possession, then fumbled it. But instead they say it's incomplete.
It seemed like when he tried to get up off the ground is when he lost possession. Catches it, has complete control. Oh, yeah, it does slip out.
Incomplete.
As he's going to the ground.
It was nearly Bortles' first interception in 97 consecutive pass attempts, but instead it's an incompletion, and Nortman punting to Taylor, who lets it go, and it goes into the end zone. So San Francisco continuing to impress on both sides of the football. They have a 10-0 lead. You're watching the NFL on CBS.
The NFL on CBS is sponsored by the Home Depot. More saving, more doing. And by McDonald's. I'm loving it.
Great scene pregame. John Lynch, the GM of the 49ers, out in the parking lot with the fans tailgating. And we want to wish congratulations to John, whose son Jake committed to play football at Stanford this week. You know anything about Stanford football?
They're really good. Really good. David Shaw.
And Lofton, both Stanford grads. As Carlos Hyde takes it up the middle.
You
So
know,
it's been all 49ers here in the first quarter.
It really has, and you've seen it from the pocket, you've seen it on the move. And the one thing, the offensive line, you don't have a ton of Pro Bowlers up there, but right now they are dominating Jacksonville. Jacksonville needs that one player to step up, but don't try and do too much. Just play within the system.
Hyde picked up 6 on first down. It's 2nd and 4. Right back to him. And this time, Jacksonville ready for Carlos Hyde, brings up 3rd down.
But when you get to 3rd and 3, 3rd and 4 or less, you are at the down and distance that you want because you have options. You can drive people up the field, work underneath. You can run crossing routes. You can even run the football on this down. So you've got the defensive line off guard. You've got pass rushers coming in. on the outside, Fowler and Ngakoue, they're going to fire up the field. You know that. So if you can keep that pocket clean, you have a really good chance to throw the football.
San Francisco 3 out of 4 on third downs today. Garoppolo on the slant, caught by Kendrick Bourne. Another third down conversion.
Telvin Smith, number 50, thought he had the ball. I'm not sure how close it got to his hands, but he made the break. You're going to get the quick slant coming inside, and there goes Telvin Smith, and that ball is surgically placed in between the two Jacksonville Jaguar defenders.
49ers go no huddle, 8th most no huddle plays this season. And they keep it on the ground this time with Matt Breida. Aaron Colvin on the stop.
And once again, you run the ball at that nickel linebacker. Aaron Colvin comes in, 6 feet, 193 pounds. We're going to run the ball at him and make him make tackles. And that's a tough assignment for that nickel corner.
And that's the final play of the first quarter. And what a start on this Christmas Eve for Jimmy Garoppolo and the 49ers. We're through one. It's 10-0 San Francisco. Start of the second quarter in Santa Clara. What a start for San Francisco, coming in the worst first quarter point differential in the NFL, and Jacksonville was tied for the second best. But it's a 10-0 49ers lead as we begin the second. With Robinson in motion on 2nd and 4. It's a play fake. Garoppolo checks it down to Juszczyk, and he's shoved out of bounds by Jalen Ramsey. Well, what a job that Dave Caldwell, the GM, and Tom Coughlin, the Executive VP of Football Operations, did this offseason, bringing in some key free agents. Calais Campbell, A.J. Boye, Barry Church. Doug Marrone told us last night that he can't say enough about the leadership these three have provided. From the day they arrived in Jacksonville, they got to know their teammates, coordinated team activities, and he really thinks that one of the biggest keys for Jacksonville's success on defense this year is the leadership of these three.
You know, I'd go along with that, but more so, Andrew, it is the production of those three. Because you look at those numbers, they're off the charts for each and every one of those players at their particular position. So leadership is great. Give me production any day.
San Francisco has called the timeout before this third down and 1 play.
You know, and like you said, Doug Marrone said, I don't force guys to be leaders. It just happened organically that's the nature of these individuals.
Doug Marrone told us earlier this season that his closest friend in the building is Tom Coughlin. He said they have the same football philosophy. And we were out at Jaguars practice several times this year, James, and Tom Coughlin was very involved in the practice. He had the play sheet. He was communicating with Marrone. What a big acquisition Coughlin has been in his return to Jacksonville. And what a big stand on third down for this Jaguars defense. Throwing back Carlos Hyde, and out comes the punter, Bradley Pinion.
When you're going up against a quick defensive front, we've seen the bootlegs already, but now you're just trying to outquick them. You run left behind Joe Staley, who's your best offensive lineman, and they beat you at the point of attack. Carlos Hyde had no chance.
Jadon Mickens back deep to receive the punt from Pinion. Some movement. A flag is down. A false start on San Francisco.
False start. Number 45, offense. 5-yard penalty. Still 4th down.
It's been a big problem for the 49ers this year. They have 40 pre-snap penalties coming into the day. That's the second most in the NFL behind Seattle. This one's on Tyvis Powell, who was just called up off the practice squad last week. Mickens calls for a fair catch at the 14. Well, the sports world is mourning the loss of one of the giants in our business. The great Dick Enberg died this week at the age of 82. He called some of the biggest events in a variety of sports, including 8 Super Bowls. And beyond his incredible talent on the microphone, he was as genuine a person as they come. All of us at CBS Sports send our sincere condolences to the Enberg family. Back in Santa Clara, and big injury news here for the Jaguars. Their starting left tackle, Cam Robinson, has an ab strain. He is questionable to return. So Josh Wells in at left tackle to start this drive. Jaguars have run 10 plays for 29 yards. Here's Fournette. He's hit behind the line of scrimmage and pushed back. Reuben Foster, one of the first to get there. Well, tonight the Catholic monks who have been protecting ancient religious works from ISIS. A survival story. Tonight on 60 Minutes, only CBS. San Francisco has held opponents under 100 yards rushing in 4 straight games. First time they've done that since 2013, and they are off to another good start here today. Jaguars have 11 yards rushing. Bortles to the air. Plenty of time, and he airmails the throw. Looking for D.D. Westbrook, it's incomplete.
Cassius Mark might have gotten a hit late on Bortles or up around the head and neck area.
Late flag.
Personal foul. Roughing the passer. Number 54, the defense. Crown of the helmet. 15-yard penalty, automatic first down.
That's on Cassius Marsh.
You have to take that helmet out of the blow to the quarterback and use your shoulder. But he also picked him up and drove him to the ground. So it could have been either one of those. But he was so excited to see Josh Wells. Josh Wells, number 72, has started 3 games at right tackle. This is the first time that he's been at left tackle. Cam Robinson was injured early in the season. He subbed in for him then. He's never started a game at left tackle for them this season.
Marsh's dad played wide receiver for the Jaguars back in the mid-90s. Wide open is Mercedes Lewis. First down and more. Lewis into San Francisco territory and tripped up at the 48 by Colbert. But it's a gain of 23 for the veteran Mercedes Lewis.
Great run fake. Now you think of a run fake to the running back, but it's the offensive line. They're driving the defensive line down the line, making sure that they don't go downfield. And as long as you have constant contact from the line of scrimmage, you can go a yard, yard and a half, 2 yards down the field. But when you get disjointed from it, that's when you'd be illegally down the field.
Fournette lost the handoff. Lost it twice. Ball on the ground. And Jacksonville recovers. Well, Fournette juggled that twice and was lucky to hang on. He has not lost a fumble this year.
It looked like Leonard Fournette was beyond Blake Bortles once he started to fumble the ball. That ball looks like it's put into his stomach really well. If it's a little high, it'll hit those shoulder pads and bounce off them.
A loss of 3 on the play. Fournette, 6 carries, 6 yards. With 2 on the play clock. They barely get it off. There is a flag down, and no, they're blowing this dead. It was a delay of game.
Delay of game. Offense. 5-yard penalty. Still second down.
Jaguars completely out of sync here in the first half.
Remember, this is a Jaguars team that, number 1, majors in running the football. Number 2, yes, Blake Bortles has been hot and good the last 3 weeks, but those plays are set up in the play-action passing game, being able to run the ball. And the fact that Leonard Fournette has 6 carries for 6 yards lets you understand that the 49ers aren't too worried about him running the football right now.
The clock is correct. We will wind on my signal.
So the penalty makes it second down and 18. Bortles from the shotgun. Steps up, intercepted! It's Dante Johnson on the return! See you later! Touchdown, San Francisco! #12th pick 6 of Bortles' career, his first this season.
Dante Johnson is the recipient of this interception, and he's the guy whose name is going to be in the paper for running it back. But Eric Reed on this side stops Keelan Cole as he's running his route. Watch Keelan Cole put the brakes on, because there's Eric Reed coming to do danger to him. And once he doesn't continue to run that route, ball goes right into Johnson's hands and stroll down the sideline.
Johnson's first interception since 2014. But how about this? Aaron Colvin scoops it up. And he's going to go all the way. High-fiving Jalen Myrick for 2. Interesting turn of events. It's now 16-2. You do not see that very often. Instead of a 17-0 lead, it's 16-2.
The NFL on CBS is sponsored by Lowe's. Hurry in today for huge savings on all things winter. Honda. Hurry into the Happy Honda Day sales event today. And by Forevermark. Discover the Forevermark Tribute Collection at forevermark.com.
.11:03 to go first half. It's 16-2 in favor of the 49ers. Dante Johnson now has 2 career interceptions. Both are pick sixes. And Blake Bortles' streak of 98 consecutive passes without a pick ends here in the second quarter. Pinion with another big kickoff for a touchback. Now earlier we showed you that the defensive teammates for Jacksonville were pushing and shoving. Take a look at this. Keelan Cole and Keenan McCardell, the wide receiver coach, and that's Alan Hearns in there as well, having some words with each other and having to be separated.
You know, you have teaching moments that you go through during the week, and when you're reviewing film, sometimes you just got to let it out. This is a very emotional game. You can see Keenan McCardell being frustrated that his receiver didn't continue the route on, and maybe the quarterback was supposed to stop him, but there's some miscommunication going on right now in Jacksonville.
Here's Fournette on first down, runs right into Solomon Thomas. Who do you put that interception on more, the receiver or Bortles?
Yes, because Bortles should be able to see Eric Reed out in front and stop him more in the hole, throw the ball directly at him. Because Keelan Cole, as he's crossing, he has a step and a half on Johnson, so you could throw the ball and stop him to protect him a little better.
Bortles is 3 out of 7 for 40 yards. Fournette lined up at the bottom of your screen. Bortles trips and goes down. It's third down. Well, Keenan McCardell, as pointed out earlier this week by Doug Marrone, has done a great job with these Jacksonville wide receivers. Look at this, week 1, Allen Robinson, Alan Hearns, Marquise Lee. How about the 3 starters today? Westbrook, Cole, and Mickens. All 3 are first-year players.
And when you have young players, you're going to make mistakes. But to this point, they had played exceptionally well. Now they've got to pick it up, and they can't get down on themselves while they're out on the field.
Average third down distance for the Jaguars today is 11 yards. This is 3rd and 12. Bortles deep for Jalen Strong, and a lot of contact and a penalty. In fact, 2 come on the field. That was Dante Johnson, who was tangled up with Jalen Strong, playing in his first game as a Jaguar.
Jalen Strong does a good job at the end.
Interference. Defense, number 36. The ball will be placed in spot of the foul. First down.
Working back into the ball, trying to take it at its high point, and making sure that Dante Johnson runs right through him. And so that's a smart play on a ball that's underthrown. You go back, you go up, and you get the penalty flag.
There is Robert Saleh in his first year as the defensive coordinator for San Francisco. Spent the last 3 years as the Jaguars linebacker coach. We had a chance to chat with him this week, and he said he was happy at the way Blake Bortles was playing. Felt good for him since he'd been beaten up in the media so much as Fournette is spun down. And we asked Blake Bortles about playing a coordinator and a defense that knows him so well, and we asked him to compare it to when they played the Chargers in Week 10 with Gus Bradley as their defensive coordinator, and he said that this defense, Robert Saleh, San Francisco, they know more about us than the average team. And when they played the Chargers, they lined up in something that Blake thought they were going to do, and then Gus Bradley did something totally crazy that Blake wasn't expecting. He expected more of that today here against Robert Saleh. 2nd and 7. Cole with a flag down. He's tackled at the 46 by Johnson. And now we'll see what the penalty marker is.
Flag on the field.
Illegal use of hands to the face, number 36 in the defense. That 5-yard penalty will be accepted and an automatic first down.
Another penalty on Dante Johnson. 4 of the Jaguars' 7 first downs have come because of a penalty.
Yeah, he's matched up against Keelan Cole, and those hands go up to the face because Keelan Cole does a nice job starting him outside and then trying to cross his face and come underneath him. You got to work that guy in the line of scrimmage. Just can't try and go inside because then he'll just collapse you straight down.
Fournette. And pushes his way to the 43-yard line. Fournette missed his 3rd game last week because of a quad injury. Amazingly, the Jaguars have gone 3-0 without Fournette in the lineup this year. There's Nathaniel Hackett, the offensive coordinator, who's done such a good job with this Jaguars offense, especially of late. They have over 400 yards of offense in 3 straight games, but today just 56. 3 on the play clock. Bortles looking to throw. His pass is deflected and incomplete. Well, that was a big problem for Bortles, not only throughout his career, but especially in the first 9 games of the season. He had 10 passes batted down, but in the last 5 games, only 2.
When you are an interior defensive lineman and you win, you know, that ball, not so much that it's batted down, is A.J. Cann, the right guard, just gets beaten with an arm over move, and you can see the collapse on Blake Bortles. Those balls that end up just fluttering up in the air, you can get in a lot of trouble with those.
DeForest Buckner is having a very nice season. 2nd-year man out of Oregon. Wow.
A late call.
They're ruling that a fumble and San Francisco football. Of course, all turnovers subject to review, so they will take another look at this one. But you're absolutely right, James. A very late call. That's got to be a pass, right?
In my book, it is.
We'll find out when we come back.
Review. The ruling is changed. It is a forward pass. The quarterback's arm was coming forward. Reset the game clock to 7:50. It'll be 3rd down and 6 at the 42-yard line.
That's what we said up here in the booth, that this was an incomplete pass. Big hit by Buckner, but the arm was coming forward. So instead of a turnover, it'll be a 3rd down for Jacksonville. Their offense back out on the field.
Well, you always say the process of replay is to get it right and to afford you time to go get a new beverage from the kitchen, right?
These days, all bets are off when it comes to replay.
Oh, man, we've seen some calls today.
Moving on, it's 3rd and 6. Bortles has run for his last 4. They hand it off to Yeldon. He's got some room on the left side, and Yeldon picks up the 1st down. Good call there by Nathaniel Hackett to move the chains.
Once again, you get that nickel corner in, and he's at the point of attack, and you run at him. And you make him come up and force the run, and nice job by J-Don Mickens outside, throwing all his 5'9", 170 pounds in there to block.
So Nathaniel Hackett is a huge Star Wars fan. He's wanted to name plays after Star Wars characters, and obviously was very excited with the movie release this month that he begged Blake Bortles to watch Star Wars for the first time on the plane ride here yesterday, as Bortles goes to the air and completes it to O'Shaughnessy. Bortles said he finally agreed to watch Star Wars on the plane, and he fell asleep watching it on the plane last night.
He went back to the 1977 Star Wars. But you got to figure that the computer graphics and the special effects were a little different then, you know, where they're actually hanging the cardboard plane in front of you.
Jaguars decided to come yesterday. A lot of teams flying out to the West Coast from the East go on Friday. But Jacksonville's not had a lot of success in the Pacific time zone, 2-11 all time. So Doug Marrone said it's not working when we're going on Fridays. Let's just go on Saturday. Bortles keeps it himself. Bortles at the 30 and slides right near the sticks, and that's going to be good for another Jacksonville first down. Last win for the Jaguars in the Pacific time zone was the 2004 regular season finale, which was January 2nd of 05. 8 straight losses in the Pacific time zone.
They would much rather go the other direction and go over to jolly old London and play. Really successful out that direction.
We were there in London when they beat up the Ravens earlier this year as Fournette takes it to the 20. This is the best rhythm the Jacksonville offense has had today, which isn't saying much as they've been held to just 77 yards.
But you pick up 2 points on the blocked field goal attempt. And now if you're able to convert here, you can pick up another 6 points and potentially go for 2. And now it's a 6-point game, or if you kick it, it's a 7-point game.
With 5:25 to go in the second quarter. Bortles to the end zone for Westbrook, makes the adjustment, the catch, and he's down at the 1. What a grab by D.D. Westbrook. It's 1st and goal.
And Blake Bortles is trying to get them to the line of scrimmage as quickly as possible because you're close enough to quarterback sneak or turn around and give it to Leonard Fournette.
He doesn't want Kyle Shanahan to maybe take another look at this one. They take the handoff to Fournette, pushing the pile, and he's in. Touchdown, Jaguars. The 9th rushing touchdown this season for Leonard Fournette.
Well, D.D. Westbrook is not a big receiver, but he elevates, he points the ball, and he's on that pylon. Big power back. Leonard Fournette stopped about a half a yard short, but his arms are about 20 inches long, so he's able to stick the ball out over the goal line.
A couple of big penalties on that drive, but credit to Jacksonville for getting it going finally on offense. 11 plays, 75 yards in just under 6 minutes. And now Doug Marrone will attempt the extra point with Josh Lambo.
See, this is when you can be the Monday morning coach and have fun.
Well, why would you go for 2? I mean, you kick the extra point, you're down by 7.
You're the Monday morning coach. You want to have fun. You're sitting at home, you're telling Billy on the sofa over there, wake up, I think they're going to go for 2. It's just one of those things, you got some momentum going. So build your momentum, be aggressive.
But Billy on the sofa doesn't have Jacksonville's defense, which should be playing better than they are right now.
You're right about that, and this looks like an easy one, but we have to see, was his knee down when he was in that pile? Looks like he's being able to extend himself. There's Eric Reed coming up, Reuben Foster in the middle, and he's still on bodies, so he hasn't touched the ground at that point where he's extending that ball across the goal line.
We want to wish Billy and everyone else out there a Merry Christmas. Happy holidays from all of us at CBS.
After review, the ruling on the field stands.
I think the previous play, the play to D.D. Westbrook, might have been a touchdown. But you hurry up because you don't know if it's a touchdown or if it's out of bounds on the sideline.
So here's Lambo. He only missed 1 extra point this season since being signed by Jacksonville in October. And this kick is good with 5:10 to go in the first half. It's a 7-point San Francisco lead.
Back in Santa Clara with the score 16-9, the Jaguars finally on the scoreboard with a touchdown. And my partner is almost as fast as I am. Got his feet down in bounds. And Andrew, Josh Lambo set to kick off.
Here we go with 5:10 to go. Alongside Hall of Famer James Lofton, I'm Andrew Catalan. We want to thank everyone on our crew today for working on this Christmas Eve. All the men and women do such a fine job. We're so fortunate to work alongside them. It's a touchback for Lambo. Tuesday night at a Target store in Jacksonville, Calais Campbell and his CRC Foundation hosted 40 children for a holiday shopping spree. Each child was paired with a Jaguars player and was surprised with $200 to spend. They were also given a free meal and even got to meet Santa. A good time had by all. Calais Campbell has done such a great job in the community in his first year with the Jaguars. And now there's an injured Jaguar down on the field. And the injured player is Blair Brown, the rookie linebacker out of Ohio. He started the 2 games at linebacker that Telvin Smith missed this month because of a concussion, and he's been a big part of their special teams unit this season.
You know, you wouldn't think that you would get injured on a play that's not even being run out, but you know, the racing down the field, and your own player trips you up.
We'll be back in 30 seconds after this from State Farm. Blair Brown got tripped up alongside his teammate Corey Grant, and now Brown will slowly walk into the locker room. You know, just before the games today, the NFL announced several changes to the concussion protocol that take immediate effect. Of note, an unaffiliated neurotrauma consultant is now stationed in the league's command center to monitor each broadcast and alert game medical staffs to potential concerns. That's one change that was instituted today by the NFL. First and 10 from the 25-yard line. Garoppolo, play fake, looking for Juszczyk. He's got him wide open. Juszczyk at midfield, down the sideline, and they finally trip him up inside the 35. Puzluzny on the tackle, but the Pro Bowler Juszczyk picks up his number 44.
When you are the middle linebacker, your eyes are in the backfield. You see Paul Puzluzny step up, and Juszczyk from Harvard gets out in the open. That guy can get up and go. A
career-long catch, but then there was some movement, and I think it was Juszczyk had a false start.
False start. Number 44, offense. 5-yard penalty, still first down.
It was Juszczyk, who goes to the Pro Bowl for the 2nd straight season. He went last year with the Ravens. Kyle Shanahan told us that he wanted Juszczyk on the field as much as possible in this game against the Jaguars defense, certainly as a blocker, but for plays like that as well. Juszczyk, the fullback, Breida, the running back, on 1st and 15. It's Breida. Bounces off a tackle and still going. Breida with some nice moves. A gain of 13 for Matt Breida.
Great patience, kind of like a pinball. It's bouncing around a little bit, and the defense overruns the play when he starts to bounce around, and Breida turns sideways and slips out.
Niners going no huddle. Garoppolo off his back foot, and he throws it away incomplete. Goodwin was down there, but the pressure was coming by the Jaguars defense. Telvin Smith, he felt a little disrespected by not being named to the Pro Bowl this week, as did Yannick Ngakoue,
Sure.
who had a pretty good case with 11 sacks, tied for 6th in the NFL. But 4 members of this Jaguars defense named to the Pro Bowl, most of any team in terms of defensive players. Here's a 3rd and 2 with Carlos Hyde, the running back. San Fran 4 out of 6 on 3rd downs. Garoppolo to Goodwin, another 3rd down conversion. What a season for Marquise Goodwin. In his first 4 years with Buffalo, he had 49 catches. And now this season, he has 54 catches with San Francisco.
He is getting a chance to do something that every 3rd, 4th receiver dreams about it, and they're sure that they could do it if they were given the opportunity. But to be the number 1 go-to guy in a passing offense, he's getting to demonstrate his skills. We talk about his speed all the time, but it's his hands and his route running that I think are separating him, and a lot of lessons learned his first 4 years in the league.
San Fran in the red zone, and Garoppolo calls a timeout. San Francisco has 1 remaining in the first half. We'll be back in 30 seconds after this.
The NFL on CBS is sponsored by Hanes with Fresh IQ Advanced Odor Protection Technology. And by Tostitos. Tostitos gives back to Salvation Army.
Coming up, Verizon Halftime Report. JB, Phil, Nate Boomer, Coach Cower. All the latest NFL scores and highlights on the Verizon Halftime Report. 2 minutes to go, first half. It's third down for San Francisco.
While the 49ers were in the huddle, Calais Campbell was alerting his members to watch for a screen.
Garoppolo looking left, feels the heat, steps up, now rolling right, and completes it to Taylor for a first down. Trent Taylor, 8th in the NFL in third down receptions, and he adds to his total. It's first and goal.
There is a rare ability to, when you move out of the pocket, to keep your eyes down the field. Because you're thinking about, oh, I've got to get away from these four guys who are trying to track me down. But to have the awareness and to have your vision down the field separates Jimmy Garoppolo from a lot of young quarterbacks around the league.
Juszczyk, the fullback, Hyde, the running back. First and goal with Goodwin in motion. Here's Hyde. And Hyde met at the line of scrimmage. Malik Jackson, who was named to the Pro Bowl, able to get back there, and now a timeout called for by the Jaguars with 1:49 to go. They have 2 remaining.
So if I'm Doug Marrone and I have a good offense, but not a, just, oh, we're lighting it up every week and we can score in a minute, I'm not sure if I use my timeouts here. Put the pressure on the 49ers to be able to execute as the clock is dwindling down. And like I said, if we can force them to kick a field goal, going to halftime down by 10. But to give them time for Kyle Shanahan to scheme and figure out, okay, what really works best against this defense, I don't like those odds.
From the 7, it's second and goal.
Marquise Goodwin out wide.
Garoppolo fires incomplete into the end zone looking for Taylor, and it's third down.
I kind of chuckle sometimes when you run a high-low combination. Goodwin coming low and then Trent Taylor going high behind, and you've got 5'9" and 5'8" coming in there trying to climb the ladder. And you saw that big hand go up Calais Campbell. You had to throw over that hand, so there's no chance of dropping that ball into the 5'8" Trent Taylor.
Garoppolo 5 of 6 on third down passing today. Keep an eye on Kittle. He leads the team in red zone targets and red zone receptions. He just went in motion. Garoppolo to the end zone, deflected and picked off. Interception by Barry Church. There was some hesitation on to whether that ball bounced, but it's ruled an interception for Church, which will be his career-high 4th of the year.
It'll be interesting to see if Barry Church's back foot is on the end line in the back of the end zone, because he slips. Foot, pretty sure he had possession of the ball, but watch his leg go and bounce toward the out-of-bounds marker. Oh, it keeps it in bounds.
I think it's good.
And he's down on his knee, too, so one knee equals 6.5 feet.
And the Jaguars just set a franchise record with their 21st interception of the season.
Doug Marrone got what he wanted. 1:40 on the clock, and Jacksonville 2 timeouts to work with.
From the 20. Bortles down the sideline. Westbrook makes the adjustment. There's a flag down. They're saying the pass was incomplete, out of bounds, but let's see what the penalty marker is. Witherspoon had the coverage.
Pass interference, offense, number 12. It's a 10-yard penalty. Still first down.
So a push-off on D.D. Westbrook.
D.D. Westbrook will learn a couple things. He'll learn to save more room, not to extend those hands when you're battling for the football.
Don't forget, coming up at halftime, the Verizon halftime report with our guys back in New York. Scores, highlights, and update on the playoff picture all coming up again. The Jaguars already clinched the AFC South today because of the Titans' loss to the Rams.
Screen or draw, trying to pop something real quick and safe.
There's the screen to Yeldon. Cuts back at the 7 and hit hard at the 14-yard line. Bortles tries to get everyone to the line as quickly as possible. They'll go no huddle.
remember, the 49ers have one timeout. So if they come up short here on second down, I would think the 49ers might try and use their timeout to stop the clock.
Bottom of your screen, Keelan Cole matched up with Tyvis Powell. Bortles to Cole. He had the separation on Powell, and Cole turns it into a nice game. Don't know if that's the matchup San Francisco wanted there, with Powell playing in just the 10th game of his career, a gain of 15.
Keelan Cole is playing in the 15th game of his career. So we're talking about a guy from Kentucky Wesleyan. He's put that school on the map, and all the alums and the student body are really proud watching them play week in and week out.
Third down and 1. 1:01 to go. It's Yeldon, and he's got the first down. Now let's see what Doug Marrone does here. Does he call for a timeout? Yes, he does. So 1 remaining for Jacksonville. And Solomon Thomas shaken up on the play.
A little bit of a high snap, gets the ball down, and does that little fake to try and hold the guys on the backside. The quarterback is responsible in the blocking assignments, and most of the time those are fakes that he carries out after he hands the ball off.
Solomon Thomas receiving medical attention on the field. And because of this injury, San Francisco will be charged with a timeout inside 2 minutes.
And Jacksonville will get their timeout back that they initially called, so a bit of good luck for Doug Marrone there.
Solomon Thomas, 3rd overall pick from Stanford. In 2014, John Lynch, the GM, went back to Stanford to get his degree and had a management class, and Solomon Thomas was in the same class. Thomas told us that, I noticed this older gentleman in the back of the room. Turns out 3 years later, John Lynch called him on draft day and said, hey, classmate, you're coming with us here to the 49ers. What a job John Lynch has done in his first year as GM. He played for Mike Shanahan in Denver, and now his head coach is Mike's son Kyle. So the Jaguars, as we told you, get a timeout back. They have 2 remaining. Bortles with time to Cole. A first down, and he spins away. More yards for Keelan Cole to the 42, a gain of 25. Colbert on the tackle.
And timeout by Jacksonville.
They stop the clock with 47 seconds to go and 1 timeout remaining.
Just nice patience and even more confidence from Keelan Cole and Blake Bortles. We had the little hiccup early on. We saw Keelan Cole being corrected by Keenan McCardell, the wide receiver coach on the sideline. And at the end of that, we saw Blake Bortles come over and kind of put his arm around Keelan, going, hey, you guys are yelling at my man. This is the guy who I'm going to be throwing to all afternoon long. So he made sure that he wasn't upset with Keelan Cole. You see those averages per catch, Keelan Cole, 19 yards per catch. That's kind of gaudy in today's NFL.
Leads the NFL. Marquise Goodwin also in the top 5 with Josh Lambo warming up on the sideline. On this drive, Bortles is 3 out of 3 for 43 yards. Back to the air. Has a wide open Yeldon. Yeldon with a lot of room to run and pushed out of bounds at the 22 by Colbert. Now, we've said this time and again doing Jaguars games. Blake Bortles has looked most comfortable when running the 2-minute offense.
Well, everything's kind of out in front of you. You know, are they pressuring? You can see it almost right away. It's just a 4-man rush, man-to-man coverage. So they are not a lot of complex reads. And when you get guys one-on-one who are getting separation, that makes it even easier.
Bortles to O'Shaughnessy. Shoved out of bounds at the 15. 36 seconds remain.
As you get closer and closer to the goal line, what do you rely on? Who is your guy who has that separation ability or the big strength to go up and get the ball? They just tried it Leonard Fournette out. I wouldn't be surprised to see a screen where he runs across the formation from this side all the way around here so that he can get on the boundary and get out of bounds if he catches it.
Bortles back to O'Shaughnessy inside the 10, dragging defenders to the 5.
Got to clock the ball now.
8 straight completions for Bortles. They have not called timeout. Preserving that final timeout with 15 seconds to go. Bortles steps up to Fournette, off his hands, and caught! Jalen Strong! Touchdown! A miraculous play! And the Jags an extra point away from tying the score. Just like they drew it up.
I used to have a coach, Ted Marchabroda, who would say, everybody running, everybody alert, because you don't know who the ball is going to go to. Jalen Strong reactivated from the practice squad just this week. So he's coming into the game thinking, well, he probably won't throw me the ball, he probably doesn't remember me. But being alert and hustling, they would come up with the ball.
Somewhere Phil McConkey is smiling. They will confirm this. Jalen Strong playing in his first game as a member of the Jaguars, called up off the practice squad yesterday when Doug Marrone did not think that Allen Hurns was good enough to go today. He practiced limited all week, had missed the last 5 games with an ankle injury. He was listed as questionable, but Marrone said he felt comfortable with the guys he had at wide receiver today, and he thought Jalen Strong had a very good week of practice.
It's not a charged timeout, as it was a scoring play.
Touchdown has been confirmed, and now Lambeau is out for the extra point. So coming into that drive, Blake Bortles had thrown for 61 yards. On that drive, he was 7 of 7 for 86 yards. And Jacksonville, which had a miserable first quarter, pushing and shoving on the sideline, nothing going right. They've tied the game with 10 seconds to go in the first half. Well, Friday and Saturday, CBS features the top college basketball teams in the country. Friday, 7th-ranked Kentucky takes on bitter rival Louisville. And on Saturday, 4th-ranked Duke and the #1 team in the nation, Villanova, are also in action. 2 days of outstanding basketball coming your way on CBS.
When I was a youngster, they didn't have the three-point line, but it didn't affect me because my range was really from 2 to 4 feet away from the basket.
How many things were you good at? Football,
no,
track?
I was not good at basketball.
Okay.
No.
Right. I was not good.
I was very good at the inbounds pass. I could get that off.
I was not good at anything, so don't have to worry about those things.
But look at what you're good at now.
Talking about Billy on the sofa with you?
Yeah.
So Lambeau just grounds one. And the Niners, with 6 seconds on the clock, have the ball at the 35-yard line. Meanwhile, Reuben Foster, who's been shaken up a lot the last few weeks, is into the blue medical tent on the 49ers sideline. So we'll await word from San Francisco on what's up with Foster. He suffered a shoulder stinger last week in the win over Tennessee. And it looks like Garoppolo will just take a knee here. It will be Jacksonville football to start the second half. What a half. Really a tale of 2 quarters. Somehow the Jaguars run into the locker room tied at 16. Halftime is next after these first half highlights from Verizon and a word from your local station. You're watching the NFL on CBS.
Want to stay up to date? Hey Siri, show me football scores.
Back here in Santa Clara, where the score is tied at 16 between the Jaguars and the 49ers. San Francisco dominated early. Jacksonville came on late. As we welcome you back to the booth. Merry Christmas, Happy Holidays with James Lofton. I'm Andrew Catalon. At the time, seemed like an innocent play.
It did.
The blocked extra point return for 2 by Jacksonville. First time that play has happened this season in the NFL. But since then, all the momentum's been on Jacksonville's side.
And just little things in situational football, because when you block that PAT, you cannot just fall on the ball and say, oh, the play's over. you have to scoop and score, and that's not the easiest thing in the world to do. Colvin right there, it bounces back up to him as a second attempt to get to it, and then did not want to get run down by Robbie Gould. If you are a defensive back, and Robbie Gould got some wheels.
Couple of injury updates to pass along for Jacksonville. Cam Robinson, the left tackle, and linebacker Blair Brown, both out for the rest of the game. Robinson is the ab strain. It's a concussion for Blair Brown. So big injury, specifically the loss of Robinson, who's had a phenomenal rookie season here in the NFL. Some sun starting to peek through the clouds here Christmas Eve in Santa Clara. Jacksonville will get the football to begin the second half with Corey Grant back deep. And Grant will take a knee. It's a touchback as we take a look at the quarterbacks in the first half. Blake Bortles and Jimmy Garoppolo came in as the only two quarterbacks 3-0 in the month of December, and the early edge goes to Garoppolo, but credit to Bortles for that 2-minute drive to tie the game.
Yeah, and they both had an interception, were able to rebound from that. Garoppolo, the touchdown plunge to, break the Jacksonville Jaguars streak of not giving up a touchdown in the first quarter. So a lot of good things for the 49ers early. Can they get back that kind of mojo they had early on?
Quick pass to Mickens on 1st and 10, and Jadon Mickens takes it to the 29-yard line. Eric Reed on the tackle. The Jaguars scored 14 points in the final 5 minutes and 10 seconds of the first half, trying to keep that momentum rolling here to start the third quarter.
I know when you go in the locker room, you have 12 minutes, and you really have about 6 minutes to kind of figure out what you want to do. One of the things they want to do is get Leonard Fournette going. He had 10 carries in the first half. 5 of those carries were for 1 yard or less.
Chris Ivory did not have any carries in that first half. A play fake. Bortles to Cole, and Cole has the first down. 4th catch today for Keelan Cole.
When you get players from smaller schools, you wonder if the stage is going to be too big for them. With Keelan Cole, it isn't. And the thing that I'm really impressed with is the different ways that they use him. That time, he's coming behind the line of scrimmage. You're running a bootleg to him out in the flat. You see him down the middle. You see him on deep passes. So his football IQ must be really, really high.
Blake Bortles has hit on 11 straight completions. He hands this one to Fournette, who tries to weave his way to the 41-yard line. Going back to Keelan Cole, undrafted out of Kentucky Wesleyan. 32 wide receivers were drafted in 2017. He has more receptions than 29 of them. One of the 3 with more receptions than Cole is on the other side of the field, Trent Taylor of the 49ers. Second down and 6. Bortles deep down the sideline for Cole. Beautiful catch and throw. Bortles right on the spot to Keelan Cole for a gain of 32.
The first thing that he does well is he saves a little room to the outside so that Blake Bortles can drop that ball in over the outside shoulder, and a nice hands catch. He didn't show his hands too early where the defensive back is going to rake across his hands. Those are late hands. He got that move from Keenan McCardell. When I coached Keenan in his later years with the San Diego Chargers, Keenan had those late hands that he'd throw up, and defensive backs couldn't tell when the ball was coming over his shoulder.
12 in a row for Bortles that he's completed. Keelan Cole now has 5 catches for 90 yards. Bortles feeling it through the air. This is a tight end screen to Lewis. A flag is down, but Mercedes Lewis carries it inside the 15. Let's see what the penalty marker is.
I think because he had to loft the ball over the head of the defender,
Pass interference. Offense number 84.
Yeah.
10-yard penalty. Still first down.
That's on Keelan Cole.
If you could have thrown that ball on the line, Keelan Cole is going, he's waiting, and he has to make that block on Eric Reed. But because that ball gets lofted over the defender, it takes a while to get into the hands of Mercedes Lewis, and by that time, Keelan Cole has made that block.
The penalty brings the ball back out to the 36-yard line of San Francisco. 1st and 20. A handoff to Fournette. Nice adjustment at the line of scrimmage. And Fournette carries it to the 29, tackled by Tank Carradine. A gain of 7. As we revisit the AFC playoff picture with some games already in the books today. New England a big win over Buffalo. Jacksonville clinched the division by virtue of the loss by the Tennessee Titans, who are now at 8-7, and they'll host Jacksonville next Sunday. Fournette again. Seen a number of players slip today on this turf, James.
And he was cutting off the wrong foot. You've got to plant that outside foot and be ready to go, but he's got a lot of tape on those shoes, and sometimes you tape over some of the cleats that are on the bottom of the shoe and you don't get the traction that you would need. I never had any of that fancy looking.
Jacksonville 2 for 4 on 3rd downs. Bortles fakes one way and it's knocked down. DeForest Buckner got a hand on that one. Nathaniel Hackett, the offensive coordinator, said earlier this week, we've got to keep Buckner's hands down. Didn't happen that time.
Well, they're going to have to keep his hands down 2 plays in a row right now, because you've got a long field goal attempt, and every field goal kicker will tell you, I need to be able to drive the ball a little more, and Buckner is going to be in the middle of this, so those big hands are going to come up once again.
13th pass batted down this season thrown by Blake Bortles. 3rd most in the NFL. Matthew Stafford of the Lions has the most. Out comes Lambeau for a 45-yard field goal attempt to give Jacksonville its first lead of the day, and it's good. With 10:57 to go in the 3rd, the Jaguars take a 3-point lead. 19 unanswered points for Blake Bortles and the Jaguars. They have a 3-point lead with 10:57 to go in the 3rd quarter. Bortles and Nathaniel Hackett, the offensive coordinator, with Chad Henne in the meeting as well. And Lambeau will kick it away to Breida, back deep for San Francisco. Good crowd here today in Santa Clara on Christmas Eve. Everyone very excited about this resurgent 49ers team led by Jimmy Garoppolo. It's a touchback. Let's go back to week 5. At that time, not many thought that the Jaguars win over the Steelers would have such big playoff implications. Jags set a franchise record with 5 interceptions against Ben Roethlisberger, and because of that game, Jacksonville has the tiebreaker over Pittsburgh if it should come down to that. Here's how the Jaguars can get the #1 seed. They have to win today and win next week against the Titans. Patriots lose next week against the Jets, and the Steelers have to lose one of their final 2 games. It's still possible, but either way, Jacksonville will host a playoff game for the first time since 1999. They are division champs.
The thing that was a big deal about that win against the Steelers is you were beating a perennial playoff team. And it was a statement win on the road. And the second statement win they had was a couple of weeks ago against the Seattle Seahawks. So they've done well against a couple of top-tier opponents.
Garoppolo, incomplete. That was intended for Goodwin, but A.J. Boye had good coverage on the play.
Just enough pressure in the pocket to make Jimmy Garoppolo move, because you see the speed, and A.J. Boye is off, and that ball should be able to be completed, but because you have to shuffle a little bit in the pocket, timing is off, and there's no room to throw the ball out in front. Remember when we saw Keelan Cole get throwing the ball out in front, and it resulted in an interception? Jimmy Garoppolo tried to stick that ball on the body of Marquise Goodwin.
Yep.
3rd down and 8. Pressure coming. Garoppolo steps up, and now he's brought down from behind. Yannick Ngakoue, who said he would be extra motivated this week after not receiving an invitation to the Pro Bowl, just picked up his 12th sack of the season.
6'2", 246 pounds. If he walked by you in the mall, you wouldn't think, oh, that's a defensive end. No, it looks like just a tall guy. But the explosiveness, the ability to really come around the corner, and you saw that come off a block and to still be able to run down a quarterback with pretty good wheels.
NFL leading 52nd sack of the season for the Jacksonville defense. Pinion's punt bounces at the 35. Mickens lets it roll to the 32 with 9:33 to go in the third quarter. It's still a 3-point Jaguars lead.
The NFL on CBS is sponsored by Southwest Airlines. Low fares, no hidden fees. That's transparency. State Farm, here to help life go right. And by Verizon, best gifts on the best network.
Merry Christmas, happy holidays from all of us at CBS. Christmas Eve, Jimmy Garoppolo down by 3. That was just the second 3 and out since Garoppolo took over as starter in week 13. Now here's Bortles off the hands of Cole and incomplete. Bortles struggled early, but since that second quarter, he's really turned things around, James.
Yeah, he's done well with placement of the football. When we talked to him, I said, when you're on the plane riding back after a win, what are the important numbers that you look at? He said, turnovers, sacks, and incompletions. So here's a quarterback who's hard on himself. He doesn't look at the yards and the touchdowns and all that. But the turnovers, the sacks, and the incompletions, those negative plays he's trying to avoid.
He started 3 for 8. Since then, 12 out of 14. Hands this one to Fournette to the 35-yard line. It brings up third down. Alongside Hall of Famer James Lofton, I'm Andrew Catalan, our entire NFL on CBS crew. We welcome you to Santa Clara, California, Levi's Stadium, Christmas Eve. Intriguing Week 16 matchup between the Jaguars, who earlier today clinched the AFC South, and the red-hot San Francisco 49ers, who have won 3 in a row. It's a 3rd down and 7 for Blake Bortles and Jacksonville. Bortles steps into a throw, intercepted, picked off by Williams. K'Wan Williams at the 30 and hit down from behind by Mickens. Second interception today by Blake Bortles, and the first of K'Wan Williams' career.
Just one of those high-low concepts, and K'Wan Williams doesn't worry about what's underneath. He just sinks back, and you see him dropping right under Keelan Cole, and that one hand goes up, uses it as a hook, pulls the ball in, but there's nothing that holds K'Wan Williams underneath, and he's just able to drift back and do exactly what he's supposed to do in coverage.
San Francisco came in with only 7 interceptions the entire season. They have 2 today, including the first in Williams' career.
If you've got a championship defense, this is the time to show up, Jacksonville.
On 1st and 10, it's a handoff to Breida. And Breida inside the 25-yard line. Dewan Smoot on the tackle.
You know, not a great stat play, but that was a -4 play that turned into a +2 play. So nice job by Breida, who's not a real big guy, but those kids from Georgia Southern know how to run the football.
Garoppolo to Breida out of the backfield, slips a tackle, and dragged down from behind by Posluszny, but Breida picks up the first down. Breida graduated a semester early from Georgia Southern so he could prepare for the combine and the draft. He wasn't invited to the combine, and he didn't get drafted. But he's made a big impact here for San Francisco, the number 2 back behind Carlos Hyde this season. First and 10 from the 15. Garoppolo to Goodwin, incomplete. Gary Church had the coverage on the play, and it's 2nd down.
In the red zone, the field shrinks. Those safeties who drop back 22 to 24 out in the field, now they're hugging that goal line. You can see Gary Church and just drive on the ball a little bit behind because it can't be thrown out in front. You've got Telvin Smith in that next hole, and that's an interception if you try and throw that ball out in front.
This has been one of the very few weak points for Garoppolo and the 49ers. Red zone touchdowns, 29th in the NFL. And in the last 3 with Garoppolo, just 23% scoring touchdowns in the red zone. They flip one to Juszczyk, who takes it inside the 10. To Sean Gibson on the tackle.
A lot of movement, a lot of hocus pocus, and then you shovel it to Juszczyk. I talked about him being that Swiss Army knife earlier. You use him in a lot of different ways. And when you throw that shovel pass, obviously if the ball hits the ground, it's an incomplete pass. But guys have to have good hands and good concentration because you're right there with both of those defensive tackles in the middle of the field.
They need to get to the 5-yard line for a first down. It's 3rd and 3. Garoppolo, quick pass, caught by Kittle. He dives, and he's in. Touchdown, 49ers. The second touchdown of George Kittle's career, and San Fran back on top.
When you draw up zone coverage, there's a guy in this spot, another guy in this spot, but right in between them, there's a little sliver of daylight, and that's what you're able to see by the execution of Jimmy Garoppolo to Kittle. Just that little sliver of daylight in between two defenders, and then a third defender. Great pass by Garoppolo.
Kittle leads the team in red zone targets and receptions. He adds to his total. And now Robbie Gould trying to add to the 49ers point total. He does. All about G in San Francisco. Rookie tight end George Kittle has given the 49ers a 4-point lead. Jacksonville came in a plus 15 turnover ratio, second best in the NFL behind Baltimore. Today they are -1 as Bortles' interception leads to the touchdown by Kittle. Here's Corey Grant on the return for Jacksonville, and he'll take it out to the 27-yard line. Next Sunday, final games of the regular season on the final day of the year. And it could be do or die for some teams depending on what happens today. Ringing the new year with a great doubleheader. And join JB, Phil, Coach, Nate, and Boomer for the complete playoff picture on NFL Today at 12 Eastern on CBS. Garoppolo all smiles on the sideline. Let's see if Bortles can answer back. Time of possession about even here today with 6:41 to go in the third quarter. Here's Fournette on first down, and for the first time today, we'll go back to New York. An NFL Today update with JB and Nate.
Turnovers hurt. That's right, Dak Prescott dropping back. He's looking for Ezekiel Elliott. He throws a little bit too high, intercepted by Justin Coleman. He takes it 30 yards. That Legion of Boom might be a little bit weak, but the guys playing behind them are making plays. He jumps in the kettle to do a little Ezekiel Elliott, but they are up 14-9 over Dallas.
All 14 off of turnovers. Back to Andrew.
And the loser of that game eliminated from the NFC playoffs. And before the snap here, a false start.
False start. Number 89, offense. 5-yard penalty. Still second down.
James, we were here last week against Tennessee. A bigger crowd today on Christmas Eve, and certainly a lot louder as well.
Well, and it's so uplifting for the players to have that support of their home crowd. You look around the stadium, it's all red. Well, the seats are red to start with, but all the people have on red, and a lot of those number 10 jerseys are popping up.
Second down and 11. Bortles to Cole, first down for Jacksonville. Witherspoon wraps up Keelan Cole, but it's a gain of 18 for Cole, and he goes over 100 yards on the day.
Leonard Fournette was a star in high school, a star in college, and he's going up against one of the top safeties in the league, and he stops Eric Reed dead in his tracks and gives his quarterback, Blake Bortles, a chance to step up, throw the ball on time to Keelan Cole.
108 yards receiving for Keelan Cole. Fournette, after that block, gets the handoff and picks up a couple on the play. Brock Coyle makes the tackle. Inside 5 to go in the third quarter.
You know, you have to hand the ball to Leonard Fournette because so much of your passing game is based off of play action fakes to him, having those linebackers step up, the deep crossing routes. So you've got to pepper in that run, even though he hasn't been super successful. 16 carries, 45 yards so far.
Yeldon replaces him here, and it is Yeldon who gets the handoff into San Francisco territory. He's got a first down, but a flag is down back at the line of scrimmage. Four penalties against Jacksonville, 6 against San Francisco today.
Illegal shift. Offense, number 84. Broke the hook and never got set with the rest of the players. 5-yard penalty. Still second down.
Boy, that one really gets you because that's a mental error. That had nothing to do with what the defense were doing. Just didn't get set in time. They asked a lot, I said, of Keelan Cole. And he's having to play a lot and be the featured guy in the passing offense right now. But that little mental error really pushed him back. It cost him about 12 yards because they had a good game from T.J. Yeldon.
Bortles' pass may have been deflected at the line, but still complete. Right at the chains is D.D. Westbrook. Johnson and Colbert on the tackle, and that is good for a Jacksonville first down.
You know, one of the things that they talk about with D.D. Westbrook is that he has strong hands. You mentioned his ball fluttering a little bit as it's coming down there. And those hands, even though he catches it against his body, there's no movement. And, you know, here comes Colbert. He's going to get a piece of D.D. Westbrook right there at the end. Does a good job turning that shoulder in and staying away from the helmet.
Ball at the 45-yard line of San Francisco. 1st and 10. Fournette, every yard has
It's been contested.
been tough to come by today for the Jaguars on the ground. A gain of 2. They only have 68 yards rushing. This is an offense that leads the NFL in rushing yards per game with 149 on average. A lot of credit goes to the offensive line this season. A lot of question marks about this unit coming into the year. But they have done a great job for Jacksonville this season. It's Fournette again. And he's tripped up by K'Wan Williams.
Now, Keelan Cole missed a block there, and so he's walking back. He needs to apologize to Leonard Fournette because if he gets that block, if he makes that one block, they've got something going here. There is inside. He hesitates, and when you hesitate, you're not going to get the guy. He's not going to run to you. You've got to go up and meet him, use your quickness, because you don't have a lot of strength and power, but use your quickness to get on him. And Keelan Cole is a willing blocker, and that's one of those ones where he's thinking as opposed to just reacting.
Where do you go on 3rd down here?
I like D.D. Westbrook down here at the bottom.
3rd and 7. Bortles checks it to Yeldon, who drops it. Looked like T.J. Yeldon had some room to run as well if he could have made that catch, but instead the defense will force a Jacksonville punt.
That was your high-low option. He did a nice job in chipping on Elvis Dumerville, but you saw his eyes were turned away from his hands because he's trying to see how much room he had up the field.
Jacksonville 3 for 3 on fake punts this year. They do not fake it here. Nortman to Taylor, who calls for a fair catch at the 14. 2:06 to go. 3rd quarter. You're watching the NFL on CBS.
The NFL on CBS is sponsored by Garmin. Get a Garmin smartwatch and beat yesterday. And by Geico. 15 minutes could save you 15% or more on car insurance.
23-19, San Francisco on top of Jacksonville. Jimmy Garoppolo, the first San Francisco QB to win his first 3 starts as a 49er since Y.A. Tittle. And he's got it going again today, James.
And when you're going against the #1 defense, there's going to be some good. There's going to be a little bit of bad. But you are the guy that everybody's looking to kind of rally the troops. When things start to slow down and get bogged down a little bit, everybody's looking at Jimmy G. And he can be cool and calm on that sideline. We heard a chance to listen to him on that 2-minute drive. He's also fiery and feisty.
That was a great job by NFL Films to mic up Garoppolo last week. You heard some great insight as to how he engineered that final 107 against Tennessee. As Ramsey with a big hit and a late flag.
Yeah, Miles Jack kind of hit him, but
Yeah.
it looked like they were still in bounds. We'll get a better look. It's on the far side of the field across from us. Ramsey had kind of worked him out of bounds. Now there's some discussion. I think this flag should probably be picked up. There's Carlos Hyde. He's in. He's in bounds when he takes that hit.
Unless he's taunting after.
After the play is over, unsportsmanlike conduct. Number 44 on the defense, taunting. That 15-yard penalty will be added at the end of the play, and that is the first unsportsmanlike counting towards disqualification for 44.
See, at that point, you stick your hand out and you help him get up. You've made a nice, clean, legal hit. Showing how tough you are.
First down and 10. Garoppolo with time checks it down to Hyde, and Carlos Hyde out to the 41-yard line. Coming into the day, only 2 players led their team in both carries and receptions. Carlos Hyde and LaShawn McCoy. Seen more no huddle today by the 49ers as Garoppolo continues to feel more comfortable with this offense, and it's Hyde to the 45.
Every defense can wear down a little bit, and the 49ers have been on the field. The time of possession probably is about 50-50 in this ball game, and that's not something that Jacksonville is used to. They're used to 3 and outs. They're used to sitting down, taking long Gatorade breaks, checking out those tablets on the sideline. They've been on the field an awful lot today.
On 2nd and 6, this is Breida. Barry Church comes up to make that play for Jacksonville. What an acquisition Barry Church has been. Coming over from Dallas, and now a little extracurricular.
We don't need that. You don't need that, Jacksonville.
Ooh, and another flag comes out. Ngakoue appears to be the guilty party.
From snap to whistle. That's all you have to play if you're a defensive player. From snap to whistle. All the woofing after it doesn't do anything.
After the play is over, personal foul, number 91, the defense. 15-yard penalty added to the end of the play, first down.
30 yards. 30 yards in penalties that are totally avoidable. You've done a good job in stopping the play, and here you come in, you're even late to the party, coming in from the other side, and you're lucky you didn't get thrown out the game for bumping the official.
Very undisciplined today, the Jacksonville Jaguars, uncharacteristic for much of their season. Now 7 penalties for 65 yards. Here's Hyde. Carlos Hyde. A 10-yard pickup all the way to the 30-yard line, and that could be the final play of the 3rd quarter. Hyde has 12 carries, 33 yards. We had a feeling this would be a good one here on Christmas Eve, and so far we were right. Through 3 quarters, San Francisco 23, Jacksonville 19 on CBS. Start of the 4th quarter here in San Francisco. The Niners lead the Jaguars by 4. On this drive, San Francisco has 26 yards of offense, but 30 yards in penalties against the Jaguars. Jack and Ngakoue. 1st and 10 from the 30. It's Hyde again, following his blocks and picking up 3 yards on the play. We mentioned this in the first half. Kyle Shanahan said they had to try to chip away on the ground. They only have 67 rushing yards, but it sets up everything else on offense.
The crazy thing about the 49ers offense, if they had an all-pro go-to guy, that's the guy that you double, that you would game plan around. But they don't have that. Now, Marquise Goodwin, the way he's performed in the last 3 games with Jimmy Garoppolo, he's the guy that you have to find a way to stop in this offense.
Goodwin at the top of your screen. He has 3 catches today. Garoppolo over the middle, and that's caught at the 20 by Taylor, and it's good for a first down. Telvin Smith on the tackle.
it's a little bit of a stretch, but the West Coast offense was conceived that when that quarterback hits his back foot, he's coming out with the ball. And you watch Jimmy Garoppolo in that drop, his back foot hits, that ball's out, and it's in between the zones. You take what the defense gives you in that format right there, and he's so successful in getting rid of the ball quickly to the right guy.
San Francisco in the red zone with Garoppolo under center. It's Breida, and he was dragged down. Ball came out late. Was Breida already down?
Breida was on top of bodies.
Dante Fowler recovered the loose ball.
Which would be interesting because everybody's signaling toward Doug Marrone
to challenge.
Yeah, to challenge this.
Let's take a look.
So he's on the pile. He's not down, obviously, right there. You're coming in. That ball starts to go loose, and that ball starts to go loose while he's standing up. The red flag will be coming out right now from Doug Marrone.
Doug Marrone just threw the challenge flag.
And you get a clear recovery. That's one of the things, if you're a defense that is used to getting turnovers, like the Jacksonville Jaguars are, when that ball's on the ground, you make sure that you get it, even if the play might have been over, even if the whistle is being blown, because you want that clear recovery upon review.
There is no challenge on the play as forward progress was ruled, and it is not reviewable.
Wow, that is a break and a big one for San Francisco.
Now, forward progress, he's running and he's getting knocked backwards. Well,
that was quick.
Yeah, that was a very quick whistle and very fortunate for the 49ers.
Tough break for the Jaguars. Instead of a turnover, it's 2nd down and 9. Taylor goes in motion. And the pass is caught by Hyde down to the 11-yard line. Well, of any quarterback with at least 25 pass attempts in the 4th quarter, Jimmy Garoppolo leads all of them this year, a 79% completion percentage in the 4th quarter. Again, small sample size, but he's had some magic with 2 game-winning 4th quarter drives in the last 3 games.
And a lot of that is decision-making, taking some of the things that are underneath. Hasn't thrown a lot of touchdowns down here in the red zone.
3rd down and 2. They fake the pitch to Hyde. Garoppolo rolling right. He can run. There's a flag down. Garoppolo out of bounds with the 1st down if the play stands.
Well, Marquise Goodwin was coming underneath to run that flat route on the bootleg, and the old
Dante Fowler got him.
Dante Fowler. Don't go after Marquise. The play's over. The flags have been thrown.
Defense, number 58. Half the distance to the goal. Added to the end of the play. 1st down.
They don't have a 58. That's 56. Dante Fowler.
Yeah. And Dante Fowler is doing what he has to do here because there's no pass interference behind the line of scrimmage, but there is holding. So if he had just chucked him and knocked him to the ground, that would not have been a call. But the fact that he kind of did the old clothesline routine on him, that last time I saw that was Fred Williamson.
That's a very nice way of saying holding.
Yeah.
1st and goal from the 4-yard line.
So personal fouls, taunting, holding. You're helping them down the field.
Jaguars scrambling on defense. Garoppolo under center. Hyde. And he gets to the 2. One of the more remarkable statistics during this Garoppolo run as starting quarterback is time of possession. Last 3 games, the 49ers have the best average time of possession of any team in the NFL, and they're doing it without getting a lot on the ground, which is even more impressive.
And they're doing it against a team in Jacksonville that normally wins the time of possession. They come in averaging 32 minutes a game possessing the football. They're not being the victors in that category today.
2nd and goal, right back to Hyde. Right side, nowhere to go. Lusney and Ramsey combine on the tackle, and it's 3rd and goal.
Just great penetration. You're trying to run at Calais Campbell. That's not always a good deal. The double team can't move him, so the guys are able to come around him because he's being double teamed, and you're a free runner to make the tackle.
7th tackle today by Lusney. He'll come out on 3rd and goal. Breida, the running back, next to Garoppolo. Garoppolo on the move, throws, and it is caught. Touchdown! Trent Taylor! His first touchdown since week 3 against the Rams.
The ability to move in the pocket and not panic. 3-man pass rush. They've got 8 defenders back, and Jimmy Garoppolo takes his time, scrambles to the left, and that sidearm delivery, and a nice hands catch by Trent Taylor.
Safe to say that Christmas arrived on Halloween this year for the 49ers. That's when they acquired Garoppolo from New England. Merry Christmas, Jimmy G, and the Niners up 11. Coming up after the game, time permitting, the State Farm postgame show. Our guys back in New York have all the latest NFL scores and highlights. That's coming up on the State Farm postgame show. Garoppolo has 2 touchdowns through the air, 1 on the ground, and this is the 3rd straight game the 49ers have scored at least 25 points. Myrick fields the kickoff and is tackled at the 24. That last drive, not only did San Francisco get a break on that fumble, but also the penalties by Jacksonville.
Yeah, you got penalties where you lost your cool. Taunting, standing over somebody, and then Ngakoue comes. Really, he is so fortunate that he didn't get ejected from the game for bumping the official, and then Fowler taking down Marquise Goodwin.
And there's the touchdown, Garoppolo to Trent Taylor. Now, this is a spot Jacksonville has not been in a lot. They've had a lot of blowout victories. They haven't had to play from behind a lot this year. Certainly Blake Bortles, there's a lot of question marks about how he would play with his back to the wall in the 4th quarter. There's your answer. Witherspoon with the pick. 3rd of the day by Bortles. That's not going to quiet the Blake Bortles critics.
And Blake Bortles lobbed that ball up. It never had enough energy to get to the boundary where his receiver's trying to run up. He's pinned up against the boundary. You got to throw that ball so your receiver has a chance to get it and away from the defender. That ball's thrown directly to the defensive back inside. Witherspoon, nice coverage on Keelan Cole, running up the boundary. And look at it. It's a back shoulder for a guy who's pulling away from the defensive back.
Bortles has 2 interceptions in his last 5 pass attempts. Had not thrown an interception in December until coming in here to this game today. Breida on the carry up the middle. Some hard running down to the 11. Telvin Smith on the tackle. And San Francisco trying to put this one away.
Andrew, you have to wonder if there's a little bit too much on the plate for the Jacksonville Jaguars. Make the playoffs last week. If Tennessee loses, you're the division winner. You're watching that in the locker room. Everybody's trying to watch that with one eye and get ready for the 49ers. And then you come out and you're flat to start the game. And then in the second half, you make so many mental errors that you just allow San Francisco the opportunity to score. And now a turnover. You're on the doorstep again.
Here's Breida again, trying to get to the outside. Shoved out at the 7 by Ramsey. Well, I agree with you, James. Jacksonville coming out flat today, but you cannot take away anything.
Not at all.
From San Francisco. And I'm not just talking about offense. I mean, Garoppolo's been amazing again, but this San Francisco defense has played very well in the month of December, and they're doing the job again today.
I think this is a good check for Jacksonville before they head into the playoffs. You're going to play Tennessee next week. What do? Do you rest in that game because you probably have nothing else to gain the way that things are going here today? So you have to make some decisions if you dug wrong.
1st and goal. Hyde. Nice cutback and the touchdown. His 6th rushing touchdown of the season. And more points off turnovers for the 49ers.
Carlos Hyde puts a move on A.J. Boye that just stops him in his tracks. A.J. Boye has the tackle, and then it's a whiff. Got to close that down. They're running this at A.J. Boye. They block everybody else inside, and they say, okay, our running back is better than your tackle.
2 touchdowns in the last 1 minute and 40 seconds. And there is a flag down on the extra point by Robbie Gould.
Offsides against Jacksonville.
Offside. Defense number 31. The extra point is good. That penalty will be assessed on the kickoff.
37-19 in favor of the 49ers.
The NFL on CBS is sponsored by Walmart. Rock this Christmas with Walmart. Cricket Wireless. Something to smile about. And by Acura Season Up Performance Event.
$8:59 to go, fourth quarter. This is tied for the most points allowed this season by the Jaguars. They also allowed 37 week 2 in the loss against Tennessee. And they've given up 2 touchdowns in the last 1 minute and 40 seconds. Another touchback for Pinion, who's done a wonderful job of that this season. And Blake Bortles, with his first 3 interception game of the season, comes back out.
Andrew, the Jacksonville Jaguars profile is they have a great defense and they can run the ball. I'll give the defense a little bit of a pass today, but their inability to run the football effectively is really, I think, a concern. It's been hit and miss in some of the games. You've had, Leonard Fournette have a 70-yard, 5-yard run, a 90-yard run, but it's that consistent being able to run and really dominate on a consistent basis that is not there.
Bortles' pass deflected. We'll go back to New York. An NFL Today update with JB and Nate.
Nate, coaches hate what?
They hate turnovers as much as Santa hates lit chimneys. And here's another touchdown. 21 points have come off of turnovers. That's Russell Wilson to Doug Baldwin. 21-12, Seattle.
You know what? Now that's a Stanford comment there. And the loser of this game out of the postseason. Back to Andrew and James.
I thought Santa was magical where a lit fireplace didn't bother him. Nate is bursting my bubble.
Bortles incomplete. Blake is now 2 for his last 9 with 2 interceptions. Bortles on the road this season. 6 touchdowns, 6 interceptions. Has been a lot better back at the bank in Jacksonville.
You're not going to have very many 3-interception games where you're able to overcome it. When you don't have a running game and your defense isn't stepping up the way that they need to.
And before the snap, a false start against Jacksonville. Their 10th penalty.
False start. 80 offense. It's a 5-yard penalty. Still third down.
That matches a season high in terms of number of penalties with 10.
The 49ers have found something that every team around the National Football League looks for. Home field advantage.
They also found a quarterback, which helps as well, as Garoppolo is accounted for 3 touchdowns today. Bortles to Yeldon, just kind of floated one in there, and Yeldon is wrapped up at the 25. Another Jacksonville punt coming with 8:40 to go.
You've got a long down and distance situation, and you see the umbrella look by the linebackers, and they just converge on T.J. Yeldon. You come up, you make the tackles. It's really simple when you've got them in a down and distance situation that's favorable for the defense.
Trent Taylor back deep. Taylor from his own 32. Gets away from Thompson. Slips another tackle and out of bounds at the 40. 8:08 to go, fourth quarter. All San Francisco here on Christmas Eve. 49ers general manager John Lynch, not one of those GMs that sits up in the booth all game. He was out in the parking lot with the tailgaters before the game, and he's already down on the sideline here. Don't forget, time permitting, we'll have the State Farm postgame show for you coming up with our guys back in New York. 8:08 to go, fourth quarter. Garoppolo in the offense back on the field, and Carlos Hyde is thrown for a loss on first down.
The interesting thing about John Lynch is he speaks the same language as the players and the coaches. He understands the lingo, he understands the schemes, and more importantly, he understands evaluating players. Look at the 2014 draft class, Blake Bortles, the first quarterback picked, number 3, and then this guy picked down here at 62. But I don't know where he went. Where did he go? Somewhere in New England or New Jersey? Or
Interestingly, at Garoppolo's pro day in 2014, Kyle Shanahan was on the Browns staff, and he worked out Garoppolo. And Kyle Shanahan said his 2 favorite quarterbacks in the draft class that year were Garoppolo and Tom Savage. Of course, the Browns drafted Johnny Manziel, which did not work out well. But Garoppolo told us that going back to that pro day, he felt an instant connection with Kyle Shanahan, and here 3 years later, they're together again.
I think the important thing as you look at the 49ers, and they had that missing piece, not only a quarterback who's good, but a quarterback who has charisma, who people love, they gravitate toward. So moving forward, I bet the 49ers wish they had 10 more games to play. They've got an offseason, and they're going to continue to build this roster around them.
Let's see what they do here on 3rd down and 8. Garoppolo and nobody home there. Aldrick Robinson the intended target, and it will be a punt for Bradley Pinion and the Niners. Second 3 and out today by Garoppolo. Jadon Mickens, a dangerous return man for Jacksonville. 4th in the NFL, averaging 11 yards per punt return. He's also taken one to the house. Mickens a fair catch at his 15 with 6:31 to play. Well, a disappointing effort today by Jacksonville, but yeah, they have gone from worst to first in the division. It's now 14 of the last 15 years that at least one team has gone from worst to first. Last year it was the Dallas Cowboys. This year it's the Jaguars. 3-13 to 10-4, about to be 10-5, barring a big comeback here. But because of the Titans' loss earlier today, the Jaguars are division champions as Bortles completes it to Yeldon for a gain of 4.
As I'm looking at that list, the team that scares me would be the Los Angeles Rams. And really, running back Todd Gurley, his ability to run the ball from the line of scrimmage. He had an 80-yard screen pass today. He looks like he's playing flag football. People are trying to grab his flags, and they can't even get that close to him.
Guy in the stands looked like Blake Bortles. Blake to Yeldon again, and he could not hold on. Or is that a fumble? That's a fumble on the return. Elijah Lee. Another 49ers touchdown. An 18-yard return for the rookie Lee. And now they're waving it off. And we've had some late calls today. And here's another one.
I think it may be late, but when they get together and they get 3 eyes who are watching the same play, that's when they can make a good determination. It looked like he took several steps. He fumbled the ball on his own before contact, but I'm not sure how many steps you have to take anymore to catch a ball, but that looked like sufficient number of steps that he took to catch that ball, and there was a clear recovery afterwards.
Kyle Shanahan has thrown the challenge flag. No coach has won more challenges than Shanahan. He's 5 out of 8 on the season.
Reset the game clock to 6:04. 6:04 on the game clock.
That was a very late call. And Shanahan wants them to take another look.
San Francisco is challenging the ruling on the field of the incomplete pass.
So you catch the ball and you make a, quote, football move. 2 steps, 3 steps, Andrew. How many does it take to constitute a football move? He's not going to the ground, anything like that, so you don't have that to factor into it. 1, 2, 3, and the ball starts to come out.
Looks like a fumble to me, but as we know, Al Riveron back in New York will have the final say on this one. What do you think?
I'm ruling fumble. Now, you won't get the return because it'll just be right there at the spot where they had a clear recovery. So you won't get the 6 points put on the scoreboard right now. But that's certainly almost, how about that? Certainly almost looks like a fumble. That's me really going out on the limb. Certainly almost looking like a fumble.
All right, let's see what Jeff Triplett has to say.
After review, the ruling on the field stands. San Francisco has charged their first timeout and getting their first challenge.
So
Incomplete.
stands, that means 51-49. That kind of outweighed it because it's not conclusive.
So it's 3rd down and 5 with 6:04 to go. Bortles over the middle, wide open is Westbrook for the first down. And Westbrook still moving his feet to the 43-yard line. A gain of 23 for D.D. Westbrook.
It's a good exercise for the Jacksonville Jaguars with these 3 young receivers learning how to run a hurry-up drill, not at the 2-minute mark, but hurrying up to try and get some points on the scoreboard.
Bortles to Yeldon. Nice cut by Yeldon. He's got midfield. And Yeldon picks up 12 on the play.
I'm pretty sure after he caught that one that was a catch. He took enough steps afterwards.
And now Keelan Cole is shaken up on the play. That's the last thing a depleted Jaguars receiving corps needs. Marquise Lee out today with an ankle injury. Allen Hurns out today with an ankle injury. We already know Allen Robinson tore his ACL in week 1, and now Cole, who's been Bortles' top target, is shaken up.
Working, trying to get a block, finishing off the play, and you normally do get rolled up from behind. So he gets twisted up, and you know it's that effort level that you love seeing from a rookie receiver, finishing off plays, not standing around, spectating with a camera. He's out there trying to block for his teammate so he can get as much out of the play as possible.
First Jacksonville rookie with back-to-back 100-yard receiving games. He's got 108 today after he had 186 last week against Houston. Bortles broken up by Witherspoon. Jalen Strong, the intended receiver.
When you've got 2 deep help behind, safety in the half the field, you're not real worried about the guy running by you, so you can play those stop routes, the back shoulder fades. Excellent coverage by Witherspoon on that last play.
Bortles steps up, he'll keep it himself and slides across the 40. It'll be 3rd down for Jacksonville inside 5 minutes to play.
With Keelan Cole out, the Jacksonville Jaguars are down to 3 receivers, and I can tell you when you're trying to run this hurry up, it feels like you're running uphill to try and get past these defensive backs.
And there's a completion and a first down to Jalen Strong. Dragged down at the 26. Leon Hall on the tackle, a gain of 14. Have not seen a lot of Leonard Fournette here in the 4th quarter. It's been primarily T.J. Yeldon at running back.
Oh, Yeldon's a little more versatile in terms of the passing game and what he brings to the table there.
There is Yeldon in the passing game to the 20. It will be interesting, depending on what Jacksonville is playing for next week, how they would handle that Week 17 game in Nashville. If they're already locked into the number 3 seed, will Doug Marrone rest some of his starters? Bortles fires low and incomplete. Well, he told us that they have not had that conversation yet, but he did point out that Tom Coughlin in his time with the Giants almost always played his starters in a Week 17 game, even if there was nothing on the line. If they lose today, they cannot get the number 1 seed, but they could still get a first-round bye. However, if Pittsburgh wins tomorrow and Jacksonville goes on to lose this game, then the Jaguars cannot get a first-round bye. 3rd down and 4. And a flag.
False start, number 24, offense. The 5-yard penalty, still 3rd down.
A season high 11 penalties for Jacksonville.
With all the talk about what you should do when you go into the playoffs, should you rest a couple of selected veterans, it's not like you have a 90-man roster and you can take all your starters out. There aren't a lot of offensive linemen that you can rest, and the best offensive lineman, Cam Robinson, went out with that abdominal injury. We don't know the extent of that. Is it one that just takes a long time to heal up? Can he play in 1 week? Can he play in 2 weeks? Because that's a critical cog along that offensive line.
And San Francisco calls a timeout.
San Francisco, their second. Their 32nd timeout.
For those of you expecting to see 60 minutes, you are watching the NFL on CBS. Jacksonville and San Francisco, along with James Lofton. I'm Andrew Catalan. 60 minutes will be seen in its entirety immediately following this game, except on the West Coast. It's an ankle injury for Keelan Cole. His return is questionable with just 3:45 to play.
So you probably don't need him to come back in the game. He's doing a little running up and down the Jacksonville Jaguars sideline. Emergency, just put another tight end in. This game is in the books, really, for the Jacksonville Jaguars. You're hoping that you get out without another injury.
3rd down and 9. Yeldon again. And Yeldon straight ahead for the first down.
You know, it was interesting. We saw Jimmy Garoppolo when he was throwing those short passes over the middle, how they were darts. In Blake Bortles' instance, he's having to lob them over the hands of the defensive lineman.
Bortles to Mickens, incomplete. Looked like Mickens stumbled a little bit in his route. And it's 2nd and 10.
Your legs have turned to jello. Keelan Cole is trotting back on. He has a little hitch in his giddy-up, but you know, just a kid who wants to come out and play. And probably the smarter thing would have been to stay on the sideline, but there's something to be said about want to. And obviously a kid from Kentucky Wesleyan has a lot of want to make this team and to be starring on it right now.
He's back in for 2nd and 10. Bortles again will run it out of bounds at the 9-yard line because of that leap. With 3:11 to go. Bortles is Jacksonville's 2nd leading rusher today with 20 yards. Fournette only has 48. As a team, Jacksonville with 80 yards rushing, well below their league-leading average of 149 on the ground per game. A credit to this San Francisco defense. 3rd down and 4. Bortles hit as he throws into the end zone, incomplete. Cassius Marsh, the pressure on Bortles, and Doug Marrone will keep the offense on the field for 4th and 4.
Now what you're doing if you're the head coach, you're looking at execution. How does my team perform when there's nothing to play for? And this will be an important lesson for Jacksonville. Long plane ride back home. A lot of time to think about it. We've seen a couple of dust-ups between players, coaches, players on the sideline. So a lot of healing to be done before they get ready to play Tennessee next weekend.
4th down and 4. Here they come. Bortles gets rid of it and completes it to O'Shaughnessy, who is down at the 1. Jacksonville is now 9 for 12 on 4th downs this year, and they have it 1st and goal at the 1-yard line.
Blake Bortles did a great job in just retreating because you've got some free rushers, you have people in his face. They got a nice throw to O'Shaughnessy.
They hurry to the line. Bortles will hand it off to Yeldon. He doesn't get in. San Francisco had a feeling that one was coming, and it's 2nd and goal.
Cassius Marsh, who put pressure on Bortles 2 plays ago, comes off the edge, unblocked. He's the extra man that you're kind of running away from in the other direction, and he's a terror down the line of scrimmage with his speed.
Yeah, Fournette's got his helmet on. He's been watching most of this quarter. Yeldon again, and Yeldon is in. 2nd rushing touchdown of the season for Yeldon. He had gone 7 straight games without scoring, and this one makes it a 37-25 game, and Doug Marrone will go for 2.
Hey man, I was going to go for 2 a couple of quarters ago, and you admonished me on that.
I did. Now I can see it.
What does the chart say right here?
Well, they're 2 for 5 on 2-point conversions this season.
Makes it a 10-point game. It's still a 2-score game.
Right. Fournette is in there. Bortles and Koyak gets in. Wow, great extra effort by Ben Koyak.
Who was riding his back? That's kind of like when you're a little kid and you get somebody to jump on your back and you're going to carry them down the street. Koyak. How do you catch the ball, let somebody jump on your back? If it was DeForest Buckner, that's the biggest guy that they have on defense.
Did Koyak get in? I don't know about that.
His helmet got in. The ball didn't get in there.
Now this is subject to review.
That's Eric Reed on his back. Yeah, that's...
I don't think he got in.
That one... Oh, that extension of the ball right there.
I still think he's short.
But I don't think you have enough in the sea of hands to be able to see that. Down the line, do you have a clear view to overturn that?
Well, they're bringing everyone back out on the field, and we'd expect an onside kick.
Well, they're reviewing
We're reviewing the previous play.
And so you're going to have a kickoff and an onside kick regardless of whether this is 2 points or not 2 points. Right there, that, see, is he over? Because he pulls the ball back. That's awfully close.
You're right, though. I don't think you can go by that angle. You would need an angle down the line.
Where you have a good, clear look.
Right, and we're blocked here on this angle.
See, I see him stick the ball forward, and I'm looking at it, I'm thinking that he has enough for a touchdown, and there's not enough to overturn this call. This call will come out, call will stand. So your thinking here is if you recover the onside kick, you're 3 downs, you're close enough to kick a field goal, you take the field goal, then you try another onside kick so you get a touchdown.
Busy day for Jeff Triplett and his crew. A lot of Christmas Eve communication with Al Riveron back in New York.
After the review, the ruling on the field stands.
All right, 10-point game, 2:17 to go. Tonight on CBS begins with 60 Minutes and the monks who are saving ancient treasures. That's followed by the I Love Lucy Christmas special, the Dick Van Dyke Show, and Blue Bloods tonight only CBS. Jacksonville has not recovered an onside kick since December of 2014. They're 0 for their last 10. And this one's loose, and the Jaguars have it!
You can't advance it, so just cover it up at that point, and don't try and run because you might not secure it, but all situational football. So great job by Josh Lambo to bounce that thing up high. Normally I'm a proponent of getting one of the offensive linemen just to kick that ball down the line, but that's a really good job by Josh Lambo.
Their first recovery since December of 2014 against the Baltimore Ravens. And with all 3 timeouts, we're not done yet here in Santa Clara. McCray recovers. See how this drive goes, because Marone, if they get into field goal range, could opt for the field goal. They have to have 2 scores. We'll see what happens with all 3 timeouts and 2:13 on the clock. Bortles steps up, fires to a wide open Jalen Strong. He's got the first down to the 27-yard line, and that will likely take us to the 2-minute warning. It does. A 10-point game. Don't go away. You're watching the NFL on CBS.
The NFL on CBS is sponsored by FedEx. Sign up for FedEx Delivery Manager. And by Bud Light, brewed to be enjoyed responsibly.
Week 16 of the NFL on CBS. The 49ers lead the Jaguars by 10. 2 minutes to go. Jacksonville with the ball to San Francisco 27. They have all 3 timeouts. 4th straight game over 400 yards of offense for the Jags. Bortles looking for more. On the move. And he'll turn it upfield with a flag down in the secondary and an injured Jaguar down at the 13-yard line.
That's Jalen Strong who's down.
Holding on to his left knee.
He's got a kind of a post route. They run in a post behind it. He's trying to get back out to the corner. And when he stops to plant, he grabs. Stays stuck and planted in the ground.
Holding. Number 23 in the defense. 5-yard penalty added to the end of the play. First down. The player who was injured was fouled by number 23. Therefore, there is no charge timeout.
That's big. Jacksonville still has 3 timeouts remaining. Penalty was on Witherspoon.
A couple of weeks ago when we were in Arizona with the Tennessee Titans, late in the ball game, we saw the Tennessee Titans use Adoree Jackson, their star cornerback. Jalen Ramsey and A.J. Boye have those type of talents. Now, they probably haven't repped them or had to use them, but you're getting awfully thin with this wide receiver core that's out on the field right now.
Yesterday, the Jaguars cut wide receiver Larry Pinkard to bring up Strong off the practice squad because Allen Hurns is inactive.
A lot of those cuts that take place late in the year, you tell that guy don't leave town.
Right.
You know, either the practice squad is available for it, and Larry Pinkard's probably watching at home, pulling for his teammates and seeing that wide receiver core is getting a little depleted. So he's thinking maybe on Monday I'll get the call and I'll be on the team again.
So Strong slowly walks into the Jacksonville locker room. 3 catches, 38 yards, and a touchdown for Strong today in his Jaguars debut. Following the penalty, 1st and 10 from the 11-yard line. Bortles to the end zone, caught! Touchdown, O'Shaughnessy! The first touchdown of his career. And now a 4-point game with the extra point to come.
Great job by Blake Bortles in using his eyes to hold Adrian Colbert, the free safety in the middle of the field right here. See how he's frozen. He didn't even move with my circle. So Blake Bortles, with his eyes, made him plant there. Nice throw over all the outstretched arms, throwing it up high to your tight end as he can go up and get it, 6'4", good leaping ability.
A season-high 338 yards passing for Blake Bortles. Lambeau's extra point is no good! Oh, a big miss by Lambeau off the upright. And that means Jacksonville will have to score a touchdown if they're able to get the ball back. Just the 2nd missed extra point this season by Lambeau.
Boy, that's that sinking feeling. You just had a great kick on the onside kick so that you could recover it, and then you line up for a routine PAT. This ball's drifting right at too rapid of a rate. Hits the crossbar right in the middle and gets rejected.
So now what do you do here, James Lofton, with all 3 timeouts? Do you try another onside kick, or do you kick it deep and play defense?
It will be interesting. Joe DeCamillis has a chance maybe to pop it up over, to get some sprinters out there to really run this thing down. You've got more speed on the left side of the lineup than you do the right side of the lineup.
49ers expecting the onside kick. That's what happens. Lambeau, and it's out of bounds. So Jacksonville will have to play defense, 1:49 to go, and they have all 3 timeouts. The Jaguars have scored 14 points in the last 27 seconds, but Lambeau's missed extra point could be a big one.
That's why you said, okay, should they kick it deep? You kick it deep, they're starting this drive on the 25-yard line, and if you can go a quick 3 and out, you probably get the ball at your 30-yard line. Now, even with the 3 and out, you're going to get the ball inside the 10-yard line at best.
10th missed extra point of Lambeau's career. Jeff Triplett telling the scoreboard operator to make sure the Jaguars have 3 timeouts.
Scoreboard timeouts for Jacksonville to 3. They have taken no timeouts in the second half.
You mean the local guy isn't on board with...
Thank you.
All right, Jeff. Merry Christmas. 1:49 to go.
So you're going to get a stop at or around the line of scrimmage, or you can get a big run that pops you, because everybody's coming straight down here.
High. Nice cutting through the Jacksonville defense. Finally, Telvin Smith stands him up, and there's the timeout from Doug Marrone.
Don't need another one of those late penalties.
And there it is. That's unbelievable. Unbelievable.
Can't get goaded into that. Snap to whistle.
After the play is over, personal foul, unnecessary roughness. Number 97, headbutt. 15-yard penalty at the end of the play, automatic first down.
Another silly penalty by Jacksonville, this time Malik Jackson. The headbutt right there. With the official right next to him.
Frustrating for Doug Marrone to see his team come unglued. You do a lot of great things offensively to kind of work your way back into it. You recover an onside kick. But the defense with the post-play penalties goes.
Now a false start against San Francisco.
False start, number 74, offense. 5-yard penalty, still first down.
.143 to go. And Hyde picks up a couple. Timeout called for by Doug Marrone. They have 2 remaining. They were not charged for a timeout on the first play because of the penalty. So they do have 2 remaining with 1:38 to go.
But when that play was stopped, the clock would have kept running. They get charged a penalty. Right now they're listed with 2 timeouts.
That's what Jeff Triplett just said. That's their first of the half. So 2 to go on 2nd down and 11. Juszczyk the fullback. Hyde is the running back. Hyde up the middle. And he holds on tightly to the 31-yard line. Another timeout by Doug Marrone. Third down and one timeout left for the Jaguars.
You know, I know it's been a long time since Carlos Hyde has fumbled the ball. I think sometime around when he was fishing around for a prom date. He does not fumble the ball, so you feel so good when you have somebody who has great ball security, because you know the second guy in, the third guy in, they're all trying to rip the ball out, and Carlos Hyde does not let defenses do that.
All right, if you're Kyle Shanahan, do you run it again or you try to go win the game with a first down through the air?
So you're 4-10, playing against a team that's 10-4. You can get Jimmy G out of the pocket, and if it's not there, he just slides down. But it has to be a 100% completion if he's going to throw it.
They've got to get to the 22 to pick up the first. They flip it to Breida. Got some room on that left side. First down, and he's gone! Ball game! The icing on the cake for San Francisco on Christmas Eve. Second rushing touchdown of the season for Matt Breida.
See the motion with Goodwin going to the right, coming back the other side with a speed back. You had Carlos Hyde in there powering things around, and just a step slow from the Jacksonville defense trying to get to the corner.
This is the most points the 49ers have scored since October of 2013. When they beat the Jaguars in London 42-10. Tonight on CBS begins with 60 Minutes and the Monks Who Are Saving Ancient Treasures, followed by the I Love Lucy Christmas special, the Dick Van Dyke Show, and Blue Bloods. Tonight, only CBS.
I bet when the Dick Van Dyke Show comes on, he'll enter the house and fall over the sofa.
Well, speaking of good TV shows, Jimmy Garoppolo, a big Seinfeld fan. And we asked him if he's seen the Jimmy episode. Jimmy goes down. Jimmy's got some new moves. Hands off Jimmy. Not only has he seen it, but he said every time he would come out on the field at practice with the Patriots, Stephen Gostkowski, the kicker, would recite those Jimmy lines from Seinfeld. So Jimmy G on board with the Jimmy episode. There's Grant. And Grant stopped short of the 20. Jimmy Garoppolo about to go to 6-0 as a starter in his career. And a lot of people said, well, small sample size. He beat the Bears, he beat the Texans, he beat the Titans. He just came in here against the #1 defense in the NFL. And San Francisco has 44 points on the scoreboard. Be a lot of debate as to what San Francisco will do in the offseason. Do you put the franchise tag on him for 1 year, or do you just sign him to a long-term contract? Either way, he'll be here for a long time, as Bortles' pass is incomplete.
You've got a general manager, and obviously John Lynch will work with the cap people, and they'll talk about how much money they have to spend. But the move that I think you want to make to get people to come to what's still the new stadium, there's no more candlestick. You've got some energy. You've got a buzz going. I've got to sign them to a multi-year deal to get those people here on a regular basis and going nuts when they come in the building.
There's Fournette back in the ball game and takes it to the 25. Eric Reed on the tackle. Well, if the last two games are any indication, these fans in San Francisco are on board. We had a great crowd today on a Christmas Eve game with a 4-10 San Francisco team. You never would have known it by the crowd today. Bortles completes another to Koyak. Inbounds. Clock continues to tick. So again, if Pittsburgh beats Houston tomorrow, Jacksonville cannot get a bye in the first round of the playoffs, but they did win the division today by virtue of the loss by the Tennessee Titans. Bortles to Westbrook. to the 46-yard line.
Now, I'm not sure if you pass out the hats and the T-shirts in the locker room after this loss here as their division winners.
Jacksonville called timeout. This one's not going to sit well with the Jaguars. A lot of foolish penalties. Bortles with 3 interceptions. A lot of the questions that people had about Jacksonville that maybe they're starting to answer some of these questions in the month of December. Well, they've kind of taken a step back. And how about this? No game, including the postseason, has ever ended 44-33. James, I'm so glad to be next to you for history here.
History.
In Santa Clara. There's Koyak out of bounds at the 45 with 17 seconds to go. Bortles is moving closer to a career high in passing yards. He's got 376. His career high is 381.
The positive spin that you've got to try and put on this game, if you're Doug Marrone, is we did so many things to beat ourselves in this game. From the turnovers to the penalties after the whistle was blown. We cannot continue to do them if we want to fill out our mission in the playoffs.
12 penalties, 99 yards. Here's Fournette. And that could be the final play of the game. San Francisco's first 4-game win streak since 2013. Jimmy G still undefeated as a starter in the NFL. He's now 6-0. And the 49ers with a big 44-33 victory over the Jacksonville Jaguars. Jaguars are division champs, but it will be a long trip home to Jacksonville. The updated playoff picture, Jaguars right now that number 3 seed. So they are guaranteed to host a playoff game, but if Pittsburgh wins tomorrow, they cannot get a first-round bye. For James Lofton, this is Andrew Catalon saying so long from Santa Clara. Tonight on CBS, it's 60 Minutes, followed by the I Love Lucy Christmas special, the Dick Van Dyke Show, and Blue Bloods. You have been watching the NFL on CBS. Merry Christmas and Happy Holidays from all of us here at the NFL on CBS.